Donut podcast. The views and opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Two Cops, One Donut, its host, or affiliates. The podcast is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. We do not endorse any guests' opinions or actions discussed during the show. Any content provided by guests is of their own volition, and listeners are encouraged to form their own opinions. Furthermore, some content is graphic and has harsh language. Viewer discretion advised and is intended for mature audiences. Two Cops, One Donut and its host do not accept any liability for statements or actions taken by guests. Thank you for listening. All right, welcome back to Cops, One Donut. I'm your host, Eric Levine. I got with me my co-host and co-capitan, Banning Sweatland. And along with him, we've got from overseas, Italy, to be specific, Andrea, I can't say your last name, Mahigan?
Yeah, that's correct.
He says that's it. He's being nice. His accent is awesome. He can pronounce it way better than I can. And he is actually in Colorado now, where he is in law enforcement. So, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much of being here. I'm very honored to be here and talk with you a little bit and share something.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. If you're watching, we weren't on last week because we got banned from YouTube for a week. I accidentally posted a video where I blurred out the naked guy, but they still got upset about it, and they said we violated the community regulations, and they banned us for a week. I appealed it. I even talked to human beings, and they just said it is what it is. And I said, well, all right, I guess I'll just take my time out. So we weren't on last week. That's why we were gone. And then we come back on today, and I see that there's all these new features with Restream, which is the program we use to put this out on all of our platforms. And as you can see, if you are on Instagram now and YouTube, we have the vertical option, which is awesome. So we're hoping to join our TikTok on here. I'm going to have Alan, which Alan, you can pop in, buddy. Say hello to everybody. Hopefully we can get Alan to update our TikTok so we can get TikTok on here as well. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you, buddy?
Wonderful. Just
good to be back. Good to be back.
I like it. You looked refreshed. I like the retro rifle shirt you're sporting there.
Super Soaker. Who didn't have a Super Soaker when they came out?
Right? Coincidentally, that was the nickname that all the women had for Alan in high school.
Hey.
So, hey.
I thought it was premature, but you know.
There goes another week.
Yeah, and we're banned again. Too funny. Sorry, Andrea. You told me specifically not. Do you have a nickname that you go by? What's your nickname?
No, my nickname is Maigan.
Your last name. Okay.
Yeah, my last name is a little bit complicated to pronounce in English, but if you want, I can try it.
Let's roll it. Maigan.
Be careful. Bogiatto.
Bogiatto.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Hey, I can do that.
Yeah, we're live on Instagram. I see.
Yeah, it's a double T. So usually the pronounce for you could be Bogiatto. No, it's Bogiatto. Yeah.
Bogiatto. I can do that one because I'm thinking of Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah. I was a big baseball guy. So Bo Jackson. I like that. That's your new nickname for us.
Yeah.
We're gonna start calling you Bo Jackson.
Maybe I can think about that.
Oh, Mr. Billfold, dang, throwing shade. Alan couldn't hold his water. So for those in the comments tonight, if you are used to our newer format when we have a guest on, this is basically our live podcast now. So when we have a special guest, it's gonna be all about Bo Jackson tonight. So we're gonna have Bo Jackson tell us what being a cop was like, one in Europe. His specialties were K9, public order, and we're gonna talk about the H factor. So we're gonna get into all of that. All of your questions and stuff we're going to save towards the end. Alan's job is to try to kind of filter some of those questions as you throw them out, so we can come back to them later. So you guys don't forget. But if you are pro law enforcement, if you're anti-law enforcement, this is the platform for you because we are not an echo chamber. If you have legitimate questions and you are really trying to make things better where you're at, don't feel like I already see one in the comments. I'll give you a shout out, what is that? Palindromistic. I don't know how to say that. He's dropping an ACAB. Hey, buddy, you're welcome to drop your ACAB in here. We're not going to kick you out. We just ask that you participate and try to make things better. Don't just complain. Bring some solutions to the table. Mr. Billfold said Bo knows K9s. It's awesome. I like it. Bogiatto. I got it. I got it down. So,
Oh, that's perfect. That's
yeah,
good.
perfecto. We got to talk with our hands tonight.
No. I explained to all of my coworkers, this is a bad movement.
This is,
Do you want to know the meaning of this?
I do.
Uh, it- it's a little bit of bad words, but
Oh,
if may
Petito.
may I say something about that, or is against policy?
No.
No, just say
Okay,
it.
this is the only meaning is what the fuck.
what the fuck?
That is the only meaning.
Yeah.
So when you
So
say
what you're really saying?
I
What the
like the
fuck's the matter
pasta,
with you?
yeah, it's no,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like it. That's great.
So when you say something, some portrays, some stereotypes from Italian portray, they say that, oh, this is a good pasta. No, this is just
No.
what the fuck. That's it. Nothing more than that.
It's great. I can do it. My grandfather is from Italy. Me and Bogiatto said we were talking about that earlier, and so I've got the blood in me. I've got the DNA. I got the home turf rules work for
Yeah.
me, so I can
Yeah.
make some Italian stereotypes. But okay, let's
Yeah,
get back to you, sir. Guys in the stream tonight, everybody that's listening, paying attention, this is going to be our chance to really explore European style policing. We've never really been able to do that yet. We've been wanting to get some Aussie cops on here. We've been wanting to get what is that, Alan?
So that is your secondary YouTube.
Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
guys,
what it looked.
That's what the
you
second
make me
one
scary
looks like.
about all this kind of technology. You make me scary.
I know we're trying to put it all together. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's
Guys,
amazing.
we are exploring the new platform tonight with the new updates, so just bear with us. The content's still going to be good. Just the video we may be messing with things a little bit. It's all right. It's all learning. You guys get to learn with us. So, all right, let's jump into it. Bogiatto, sir, first, give us your background and tell us a little bit about what got you into law enforcement.
Oh, so yeah, I came, of course, from Italy, and my accent is pretty evident about that, and my last name too. So when I joined the national police in Italy, I joined the national police in Italy in 2002, and was my call. It was always my mission in life to be a cop, to serve my community. So I was at a young age, was 21st, and I joined the law enforcement in the national police. The national police, of course, is a nationwide police, so it's pretty different from the agency that we have here. And I remember the first academy we were in 400 people, to be trained, and was pretty amazing. After that, I worked for 10 years in the national police with different specialties. I work in the K9, in the crowd control and riot brigade. We call the mobile brigade, and patrol, of course, because one is one of the most important step to be a cop, of course. And after that, after 10 years, I decided to go forward and work with my own company, and for the K9 specifically, and the crowd control. And it was a pretty good opportunity, because it gave me the opportunity to travel around the world and work with different agencies from France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Holland, and mostly also in South America, from Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, and Argentina. And when I came here in 2023, was one of my best dreams to become a law enforcement officer here in the United States. And I don't know if you know that, but in Italy, we all always dream to be in the United States, the American dream. We still have this kind of idea of the American dream. And of course, being a police officer in Italy, one of my dreams was to become a law enforcement officer here in the United States. And when this opportunity comes out, I decided to jump in and became a law enforcement officer. It was pretty hard, because it's even if there are multiple things that are pretty similar, there are also many things that are really different, and was pretty challenging. It was pretty challenging, but I never gave up in my life. So I said, this is my dream, and I want to join again. And the reason why is the same reason that when I jumped in the national police, is to serve the community and my mission in life. And I said, okay, I want to be American. I want to be a U.S. citizen, and the most important thing that I can do is to serve my community, my future community. So I decided to become, a police officer. This is a briefly of of my story.
Okay, so you become a cop in Italy. I want to go back to
Yep.
that. You said 400 people were in your academy?
Yeah, we usually we have two more or less academy a year. Well, I don't know right now because it's from 2016 that I am not in Italy because I lived in Spain for 6 years more or less before I came here. And but yes, we have this kind of, and we have different school in Italy. So at the same time, we have, I don't know, when I was there with the 400 people, we were in Trieste up north. At the same period, we have another two other schools in. I don't remember the place. Probably was one was in the center of Italy, one was in the south of Italy, more or less with other 300 or 200 people.
Okay, now
Each.
in your academy, police in Italy, is it like it is here in the States where you're a cop for your city, or is it a national policing where you're a cop for all of Italy?
It's a national police, so
Okay.
it's nationwide. So you have you can work in all of the country. So it's different. In Italy, we have five different law enforcement agency that is nationwide. We have the national police that is not military, but at the same time is military. It's in is not proper to say is a military police, but is not still civil. Okay, and then we have the carabinieri. Okay, the Carabinieri is mostly known for from Pinocchio, the story of
Yeah.
Pinocchio. Okay, this is a military police. Then we have the Polizia Penitenziaria. This is another law enforcement agency that takes care only about correction, so jail, correction, or whatever. And then we have another one that is from we call the Guardia di Finanza. It's just for about taxes, about this kind of stuff. It's a law enforcement specifically for this kind of reason. And the last one is for the environment, like the ranger, more or less. This is
Okay.
the five law enforcement, and then we have a local police, okay, in different city.
So
This
you
is
have.
basically, yeah.
So where do the local police get trained?
The local police is trained in the city. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
So it's basically how Colorado, where you're at now, has state police. So
yeah,
that would be like the Italy National Police, and then they have
correct.
city police.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty different. We have it's pretty high the number of the law enforcement officer in Italy because
Really?
with this kind of law enforcement, also Italy is not huge. It's like more or less like Florida, for example. So
Yeah.
yeah, we have a bunch
Now,
of cops all
now
around.
you've been a cop here,
Hmm.
and being a cop in Italy. What would you say what's similar and what's very different in law enforcement for both sides?
The similar, I think, is sometimes the approach that we have in for the law enforcement. I mean, the protection of the community, the sense of justice, the sense of of the law to protect the people that are not able to protect themselves. So this is basically the same. The mission, the call probably is the same. After that, I think there is huge differences because, uh, of course, the also the approach of the people itself with the national police is different from here. I mean, in 10 years of career, I just found one person, just one in 10 years of my service, they came to me and say, thanks for your service in 10 years of service. And so the approach of the law enforcement to the people is more like sometimes more rude than that I found here, in which there are multiple people that came to the law enforcement officers say, "Hey, thanks for your service." Okay, and from the law enforcement side, being a national police is different because it's more impersonal. I mean, it's more like you're just a number. And
Right.
So for me, when I joined the law enforcement agency that I work with, is about 500 people, and for my point of view, was a small agency. And then I understood that it's not a small agency; it's a medium agency.
Right.
So it's different. It's different for this reason, and of course, also the training is different. Is from some specific ways more accurate here, and also the engagement. Of course, the policy is completely different. But
Okay.
and there are also small things that this could be fun. Also, the radio traffic
Okay.
in Italy, with something happen, the radio traffic is like more emotional, you know. So, so when you say there's a fighting, for example, oh hey we have a fighting, I'm here, blah 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 blah. So and a lot of bad words, of course.
Right.
And when I found here, it's more like polite. Yes, control. We have a fighting here, so you have to come here. That's more,
Right.
clear,
Yep.
So it's a pretty huge difference. And the last thing is that the de-escalation. The de-escalation is not just different; it's completely different.
Really?
Yeah,
How so? Is it better or worse?
it's in Italy. The de-escalation is 1 to 10, maybe no. Okay, you say okay, we go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's a de-escalation or escalation. In Italy, it's 1 to 10. Okay, it's more like and so we start polite. Then after that, there is the escalation from 1, 2, and 10 directly. Usually, I don't know. Probably it's for the hot blood that we have. I don't know the facial. I don't know. I have no idea about that. But yeah, it's pretty different, and was pretty challenging also for me about that, because I remember one time that I go from 1 to 8 immediately, and then I forgot. I said, no, I'm no more in Italy right now, so I need to refocus myself. So yeah, it's
So
Okay.
let's look at this a little bit on maybe how some people over here, folks over here that are watching. I believe everybody's probably seen the movie Taken. Uh, what country was that portrayed in, if I remember right, or what city was that in? Do you remember, Eric? Movie Taken.
I don't.
It's
I know what movie you're talking about, but I can't
right,
remember where
right,
that.
and I thought it was in Italy.
I
I
think
just
it's
didn't.
France, actually.
Oh, was it France? Okay,
Yeah.
Taken was in France. We have a movie in Italy that was in Italy that is from Denzel Washington. The last probably was the last one. I don't remember the name.
Man
I
on
don't remember that.
Fire? Or
No,
no?
no, no. It's the last
Equalizer.
one. It's the Equalizer. Okay,
Equalizer, yeah.
The
and
Equalizer.
which he deal with the local criminal organization,
Sure.
and yeah, and we have a portrait of one carabiniere over there, but was not so quite similar to the reality. But yeah,
Sure.
was fun. Was a really I love this kind of movie, but was
It,
for the movies that's okay.
it's a
Not
Hollywood, yeah.
not
Yeah,
so
I mean,
real.
we know how much they dramatize the ones that they make on American law enforcement. I'm curious; it's probably the exact same overseas.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So I do a segment with our social media platforms of, oh, so you think cops do it better in other countries?
Hmm.
Because one of the things that we'll get a lot is, you should do policing like they do in Europe. You should do because they don't have to carry guns and they don't shoot people and da 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 da. And so that wasn't necessarily the reason we were doing it. The reason we were really showing these police and their really bad interactions overseas was because people from those communities, especially Brazil, were sharing videos where they said our police are a little out of control, and they wanted exposure. They wanted help getting their stuff out there, and they thought if an American cop was showing their stuff, maybe people would take it a little more serious to help them uh, get some help and get their police to kind of change their training and tactics. Just kind of like what you're talking about, how the de-escalation is a little different here than it is over there, where it can go from 1, 2 to 10 pretty quickly over there, which makes sense if they're on the radio and they're sounding panicky just over a fight, versus here where we've kind of trained our guys to like act like you've been there before, get clear, concise communication over the radio, and don't put any fluff over the radio. So I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is, for policing in Italy, can we talk about the carrying of a gun and how you guys look at deadly force and the use of force over there compared to how you see it here in the States?
First of all, Eric, I can tell you that sometimes, I think United States is a really big country. So sometimes you feel, I mean, my feeling to be here is like, seems to be that all around the world is United States, because it's so huge, so big. So, but I think that here there are something that is not. Sometimes I say to some other friends that I have here, so you don't understand how lucky you are to be here. Sometimes, and of course, every country have its own bad things and good things, of course, like all the country around the world. Uh, the thing is that Italy, for example, we only understand one thing. I think is all law enforcement in the world, from Mexico, from United States, Spain, Germany, Holland, whatever. The uniform for me, this is my opinion. The uniform for me is just an amplifier of the people. I mean, if you are an asshole, probably with a uniform, you are a big asshole. If you are a good person,
Yeah.
probably you are much better good person with the uniform. It's just an amplifier. The badges
Okay.
for me is just an amplifier.
That's a unique way to look at it. I've never thought of it like that. I like that.
I mean, this is my point for what I'm looking for. A different agency all around the world that and it's not the uniform that makes a man, but it's the man that makes a uniform. It's different.
Right.
In Italy, we have a lot of problem about. I don't know if to say it's correct to say politically correct, but I mean the problem is that sometimes we have this kind of problem where we want the law enforcement that protect us, but we always question about the use of force. If it's true that we came from 1 to 10, at the same way the deadly force or the force itself is really really hard to use in Italy. Even if I can tell you something that happened 2 weeks ago, more or less, was in Milan during an operation about, I don't remember what kind of operation, but was in a park during the night, and was a pursuit on foot with one police officer and one that was the bad guy. This bad guy tried to grab his own handgun. Okay, it was not a handgun, it was a fake handgun. And the police officer responds with a shot fire, and was a deadly force in this case because the bad guy was down. And there was a huge problem in Italy about that because for the public view, you have to understand. Okay, this is a toy or is a real gun, and the defense is correct for the offense. But we already know that with someone, take a gun and you have, it's very hard to understand if it's a toy, even if it's a real good, replica, to understand if it's a real gun or it's not a real gun. So it's a huge problem in this case. It's a huge problem because, we had a gun, we have a gun, of course, but sometimes we say that should be better to don't have a gun, because to use a gun is worse than sometimes, than to don't have a gun. So it's very hard. It's a very complicated situation in Italy
Okay.
right now.
So they do carry firearms.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very complicated for this kind of reason. So
Okay.
we usually, for example, in this case of 1 to 10, like I told you, that we are in an escalation, but it's more verbal or physical escalation. Okay,
Yeah.
we don't have, for example, this is probably a surprise for you, probably. We don't have taser, we don't have pepper spray, we don't have either bulletproof vest.
What?
I never worked in 10 years of my career with a bulletproof vest.
Wow.
Okay. Now, what are the odds? Now, obviously, the United States, the culture is surrounded by firearms. That's
Mhm.
how our country was founded, which I love it. I'm a big supporter of it. I'm not going to pretend to know much about Italy other than the Beretta. Like, how is it for citizens to get a gun? Is it easy for them?
No,
Hard?
it's very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah, very hard. Every kind of weapon is very hard. Spain is even worse. And now
Okay.
I'll tell you something about Italy. Then the worst part from Spain. In Italy, it's very hard. It's very hard to have a gun, to have a permit for the gun, and usually the only one that have this kind of permit to carry a concealed carry weapon, for example, is just people that have some question about his own safety. So you have to show to the authority, to law enforcement, that you are in danger to have to carry a gun. So
Okay. So
it's
you
very
can
hard.
get permission from the government to have a gun because you have some sort of credible threat.
Yeah. If not,
Okay.
forget it.
So what you're
Uh,
telling me is the rich people can all get guns because they know somebody, right?
not really. Seems to be, but not really. I mean,
No?
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. So
So
the corruption's not there.
yeah, so it's like no, no. We have a lot of corruption, yes,
Oh.
but not for this reason.
Not for that reason. Okay.
No, not for that reason. So we have this kind of problem that we cannot protect. I mean, not like law enforcement. Imagine that right now. I'm not law enforcement. I'm just a normal citizen in Italy. It's very hard to protect myself and my family because the law said that if someone gets into your house, you have to ask him to go away from your house, but you are not allowed to use physical force.
In
For
Italy?
yeah, you have to call the police. But the problem is that meanwhile, from the action to call the police is like, if you have
Yeah.
time to call the police. So it's pretty it's a nonsense. It's really a nonsense. It's something that I'm not really proud of my country of that.
We've
Really.
all got things we're not proud of, for sure. But it's important for us to have the discussion to understand like the differences, and it's very unique to get somebody that not only was a cop for a good amount of years in another country, but you were a cop in multiple countries, and then
I worked with the agency. I mean, inside the law enforcement, I just worked in the national police, and right now in the law enforcement here.
yeah,
But I have the chance to work with the law enforcement of different agency, not involved in day by day, of course,
right.
works. Okay,
Fair, fair.
so
But you have a very unique perspective that I don't have. I can only, Google research and use Grok and the other AI things to ask questions and try to figure this stuff out. But for somebody that's actually been there and been involved with it, like that is a very cool perspective to get. And I think people in the comments are going to really be able to ask a lot of cool questions when we get to that part. But for me, one of the big things is, do the cops carry guns? You said yes. So that's interesting. But you're carrying guns and have no other level of force option on your belt. No taser, no pepper spray,
just the baton.
a baton. So you can either hit them with a stick or shoot them with a bullet.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you taken what you've learned from here and tried to implement some of this back home?
You mean from here to Italy, or
Yeah.
yeah? I was more or less. I try to. I'm in contact with a lot of good instructors in Italy that are still in the national police, so I try to give some perspective more the on the people. I think that
Yeah.
the best asset of every kind of business, from the business outside law enforcement and in law enforcement, the most important asset is the person, of course. And so I try to give some different perspective, to give
Yeah.
some idea. And but it's very hard, when you have a national police with so many people and one head that is in Rome that makes all the decision. It's very hard. The
Yeah.
bureaucracy is very hard. So I think that's something that I have to change, of course, 100%. I don't believe in the I think usually sometimes we talk about the structure, the system, but the system is created from people. So we need to manage this kind of situation, and we are, for good reason, we are human beings, and human beings is evolving
Yeah.
every time. So we need to evolve in this case, and the law enforcement need to evolve too, and to understand from this different perspective. So sometimes we are stuck in the 80s or in the 90s with the mentality of the 90s, but we are not living in the 90s right now. As we are living in 2026.
Yeah.
It's
So,
completely different.
okay, I've got kind of two things that I'm thinking after having that discussion. Now, imagine somebody's breaking into my house
Mhm.
and I call y'all, but like I gotta go hands on with this person. Like they're coming in towards me and my kids or whatever. And I either use a baseball bat or whatever. Obviously, the odds of me having a gun are going to be really low. So I use a weapon and defend. Like, how does that go for that person?
Very bad. Usually very bad. Usually,
Really?
yeah, very bad. I mean, it's. I mean, I tell you my idea. My idea is to have. I prefer to have a really bad judgment rather than a good funeral. This is my point.
Right.
At the same way, you have to be prepared to face a really long-term judgment, a really long-term investigation that is not you're not you cannot say I'm sure to be successful in this kind of judgment, in this kind of investigation, even if I have all of my right to protect my family, myself, my family, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done everything because he was the bad guy that puts me my hands on, so I need to protect myself and my family.
Yeah.
Even if he's completely right, you have to face maybe 10 to 15 to 20 years of judgment with a lot of investment about money and reputation. And I watched a lot of family that within this kind of situation, their life were completely destroyed for that, completely
Just for
destroyed,
being a victim.
just from being a victim. Yeah.
Oh. Now, how do you wrestle with that? How do you wrestle with that being now that you're an American cop? Like, you know, the difference between how we look at things here, where our home is our castle. Like, that is a
Oh yeah.
sacred land for us. And all rules are pretty much off. Like, I get to protect my home more than anything else. So how do you how it had to be very hard for you. It had to be hard for you. Like, I know that's a very rare instance. I doubt that happens all the time, but I couldn't imagine being a cop and having to look a homeowner in the eye that was trying to defend his family and being like, I got to arrest you.
Mhm.
Cause that's like, how do you wrestle with that being over here now? Because you realize it's totally different.
I want to be completely transparent with you, honest with you. This is the reason why I quit my job in Italy.
Really?
Yeah, when I was. Oh, I've been always proud to dress a uniform, not for the uniform. I never needed a uniform to be what I am. Okay, like I said, just an amplifier. But when I understood that this kind of uniform was no more part of my core values, in certain reason, was something that I say, okay, I have to quit. I don't care about the salary. I don't care about the benefit. I don't care about the uniform itself. This
Yeah.
uniform means something.
Yeah.
And if the meaning is less, I completely respect. For me, I have 100% of respect of every kind of law enforcement officer in Italy that leads and take care about this kind of situation. It is really bad situation, and they try to manage as the best as they can this kind of situation. This is the reason why I try to give some tools to try to manage this kind of situation, even if it's very hard. Politics is politics in all around the world. But when you have this kind of politics that is so, I can say, corrupt,
Yeah.
sometimes the most part that when you think about Italy, apart from the food, usually here is imagined as the mafia, and
Yeah.
the criminal organization.
Right.
And you think about the gangster, about the shooting, about this kind of situation. The criminal organization right now in this period is no more the gang situation, is in the politics,
Yeah.
directly in the politics right now.
Well, I want to say this, and I'm going to turn it over to Banning for a second because I've been hogging all of your time. Um, that is the epitome of the standard that I hold for cops. The fact that you went in, you were trying to do good, and you realized the system was much different doing it than how you envision it. Because I think that's a lot for most cops. I think we get in there thinking it's all rose colored glasses, so to speak. Meaning looks really good from the outside looking in, and then we get in and we realize, oh, there's problems. And then for you, like that is a that is a deal breaker for me. That is a deal breaker. So knowing that you saw that deal breaker and you're like, I got to find an exit strategy to get out of here. Like that is a that's a huge character check for a lot of people, and you pass that test with flying colors. I'm not trying to kiss your ass, but there's many men in this world, sorry, I don't mean to say men, many people in this world that they rather have that steady paycheck than stand on principle. And you stood on principle and you got out of there. And so much props to you. That is awesome. That's the type of response I want to hear from people that we talk to on here. That takes balls. Not many people will do that, dude.
Erica, the thing is that I think we are in the same boat. In some, we have the same idea of justice, the same idea of protect our community. But we need to think in one way. I think there is multiple way to protect our community. There is not just one way. To be in a
Yep.
patrol and make a difference on the street with a siren and lights. We have many things to make a difference. And when I quit my job, I was doubt myself as like, okay, I ended my mission in life, or I just gave up something that I need to fight for. And then I realized that my uniform is not something that I dress. My uniform is inside me, and I can do the difference also to help other officers to make a good, you know, job, and make something different in this way. To try to give sharing my experience sometimes from different agency in the world, to make, hey, you do always in this way, it is possible to do also in this way. How to protect yourself, and I don't mean about the bulletproof, but how to protect your life, how to protect your mind, how to protect yourself, your family, and be a better cop. Because if you are good, like a good man or a good woman, you surely be a better cop. you know it's not it's I think sometimes we are thinking that when we are in uniform we are different. We are not. I don't think we are different. You are Eric Banning with the uniform, without the uniform, we are the same person. Simply you can do in a different way. There is situation, there is behavior different. But if you can be better yourself, you can be a better cop, of course. This is just my point. So I decide that I just refocus my mission. Okay. And when I had the chance here, I don't lose the other mission to help other officer, but I want to make a difference again with the uniform. to put
Yeah.
my inside uniform outside again.
Yeah.
This is my point.
That makes sense. It looks like we lost our Instagram feed. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened, but it is in beta mode, so it is what it is. So okay. With that said, I do want to give you super props for being able to walk away from because you did 10 years there.
Hmm.
So being able to walk away because something like that bothered your conscience, that's really good. That speaks a lot to me about you. So I like that. But Banning, sir, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I know you had a couple questions. I was
I
hogging
do.
all this time.
I'll start it off, and Andrea, did you do dogs overseas and here, or did you primarily do it overseas? For K9.
I mostly worked in the overseas, and I try to collaborate also with the South America. Uh,
Okay,
and I found something really interesting in South America, in different countries. Also in Mexico, I have a couple of friends that are very, very good trainer. And
good.
yes, here in the United States, I worked just in 2012, preparing some dogs for some local law enforcement agency in Florida at the time.
Okay,
And yeah, was pretty a good journey. Was pretty interesting. The K9 ward is crazy.
it is. It is. Now, in reference to that, going back to where you came from,
Mhm.
the protection of your castle. I know you guys. They can't carry a gun and do the same thing that we can do here and protect your castle. But what if you had a trained dog and your dog protected you and your family? What
Loophole.
is the criminal and or civil liability that goes into that?
Loophole. I like it.
You need to have a really good insurance.
So the
Really good
bad guy
insurance.
could sue you for his dog break when you break into the house?
Of course, 150%.
Oh, what the fuck?
150%, yeah, of course.
Wow.
How do the citizens put up with that?
After, it's hard, sometimes they comply, but Italian people are so complicated. So complicated. Uh, the culture sometimes is that there is an historical reason for this kind of situation. We all know that we came from a really dictatorial, you know, period, from the
Right.
20s to, mostly the end of the Second World War, and of course it was a dictatorial. So for most of the people was bad at the good at the beginning, because most of the people was very happy at the beginning, and then after that, during the Second World War, was really bad, of course, for most of the people. And at that time, the presence of the law enforcement was pretty heavy, pretty violent too. So from that moment, after the Second World War, there was a sort of love and hate for the state and for the law enforcement. You have to imagine that, for example, like law enforcement, we have a different kind of policy, of course, like in here. And one of these policy came from the fascist period. That came from the fascist period that, for example, I can stop you to ask you for your ID or for your license driver if you're driving, even if without any kind of reasonable suspicion or probable cause. I don't care. I see you in the face, and for me, you are, something that I need to check it out. So I stop you and say, hey, Harry, hey, Banning, give me your ID, please. And if you say, fuck you, what do you want? Okay, this is a problem. I can arrest you. I can, charge you for something because you refused to give me your general, information. It's not necessary to have an idea, because you can say also, hello, I'm Andrea Bogiatto, and I live there, and whatever, blah blah blah. So there is a sort of love and hate, for the people. So sometimes they agree with the law enforcement, but they don't want to show to agree to the law enforcement. So it's very complicated, and I think that's come from an historical point of view too. It's not just the historical point of view, but it's pretty heavy. And
Wow.
for the dogs, the same. You have to have a really pretty good insurance.
Interesting. Interesting.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
I'm glad Banning asked that. That's a good idea. That's a good loophole that I would have tried to play if that was something that worked, but it doesn't sound like it works very well.
And Eric, if we can just stay on that for a second, and I know we're going to come back to in segment even more, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are on the training of dogs where you came from versus when you got here in the United States. Did you take one country being better than the other? And I guess the motivation between the handler and the dog here versus overseas. Now, I don't think overseas they were allowed to take their dog home as much. From people that I know, they had to usually leave it in a government housing or at the station. But here, I would say at least 80% of law enforcement that are in K9 get to take the dog home because that's what the dog knows. And
Hmm.
that's how the dog works better. And if you can kind of answer that, I mean, what are the differences between where you came from and how it is here in the United States in reference to the dogs?
About the dogs, so we were not allowed to take dogs at home. So they had to stay in the barracks, in our barracks, and to manage inside the barrack. Don't agree, and agree in a minimum part. I mean, I don't agree because I think that relation needs to be more deep. So you have to interact with your dog. I think 24 hours a day, 24 hours, yeah, a day. At the same point, it depends what kind of environment you take the dog.
Sure.
This is, I can make a sort of relation with the work and with the human factor. That is the most important part of the handler, the instructor, the human side of the canine. In general, in my experience, there are different agency that manages this kind of situation in a different way. Mostly also about the deployment of the canine is very different from every state, every nation. Um, it's hard to say if there are better country that manage this situation or worse country. I can tell you that I was so surprised from Mexico, for example, was really surprised. And I was surprised also from Argentina. I was really surprised. I was really surprised at the contrary to the Germany that the Germany have is the Germany when we think about every kind the K9 we are thinking about Germany sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah, they are good, but we can find something better sometimes. It's no more. They live probably from the echo from the past usually right now. So it's very hard to say. I think that the best country that I found for the K9 are all the countries that are taking some other instructor from all around the world.
Right.
Because the approach with the dogs, with the approach with the technique, with the approach of the deployment too, is rather really different. For example, I'm honest with you, I don't like so much the bite dogs in general. I mean, I think
Hmm.
it's a really good weapon, but I think that could be something better.
Sure.
And I worked in Sweden and Mexico with the muscle impact. So for the people that don't know, this kind of work is the dog that have this kind of muscle is a specific muscle that are going to impact, in a really strong way. And I found that was really impressive when I worked in Sweden. I found this. I met this guy that worked with. It's called the Swedish muscle work with the police. It's a different approach because it's not just the canine. It's the
Yep.
team that work with the canine, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing for multiple reasons. Okay, it's more
Right.
technical reasons. So, but there are many reasons that are really, really effective for me. And so I think it's the best way, and the country that are working a better way are the country that takes instructor for all around the world to say, okay, could you tell me your point of view? Could you show me something about your environment and try to adapt to our policy? Because If I work in Italy in some way, probably could be different, from policy to work in here. The same for the crowd control, for
Sure.
example. But I think that we have. There is my wife that said always, we need to use the dancing hammer. I said, what is the dancing hammer? The dancing
Yeah,
hammer
what
is
is a
that,
dancing Hummer?
yeah, when you have a concept, you have an idea, broke this idea in mil pieces, okay, and take what is the best for you, and the rest leave there. We call the dancing hammer, and I think that this is the best way. When we found some country that are so strict and say, hey, we have this instructor, I want to have this instructor, no more than this instructor, I don't want to go forward, and say, okay, I'm in Colorado, I don't want to have an instructor from Wyoming, because Wyoming is another state.
No,
This is something, that makes things worse.
well, you need to have several, and just speaking from several years in canine, you have to have a lot of tools on your canine dog belt. So what I don't like from what I see is a lot of these agencies using what's called find and bite. So if
Mhm.
they have a broken window and they put the paw booties on the dog, they give the canine announcements, and the person may still be in the building. They release the dog under what's called a dilate technique, and I'm not going to go into what that is for people that don't know. And as soon as they find a person within the building that's not in that first stack of officers, they will engage.
Mhm.
And sometimes you're going to have maintenance crew. You're going to have people there after hours that work for these companies. And then you run into that vicarious liability on the officer or the handler,
Oh, yeah.
and then the liability on the department. What I do support is the bark and hold. If they're
Mhm.
trained well enough, they can come up, they find the person, and they keep them there by barking until a handler or law enforcement can advance up to and take that person safely into custody. I believe bark and hold is very useful. It's a lot less liability on the city uh, all the way around. But these ones that are still sending these dogs in to do bite and hold, that or find and bite, it's also called, to me, that's just dangerous.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
because you don't know what's going to be on the other end of that line. Because a lot of times these are leadless. They're sending them in just on their own. Sometimes they have a beacon of light and a GPS tracker, and you've got a 30,000 square foot facility with one broken window. And if they find one person in there, they're going to light them up. They're going to grab an extremity, or could even grab a vascular area. And then you got to go in there and find your dog. Sometimes you don't hear that dog just mauling on, and that's just something I've disagreed with. And I love canine. I believe there's good uses and there's bad, but I wish they would get rid of the whole uh, uh, bite and hold until law enforcement gets there to take over.
Oh, yeah, agree, 100%. And I can add one thing that I really believe in, is that we need to understand. For example, I wrote an article about the Malinois, for example, of specific
Mhm.
breed that most of the department I use. It's a good breed. Yes, it's a good breed. It's a good dog. Yes, it's a good dog. Is the
It's
perfect
a
dog? No, there is no
it's a
perfect
crazy
dog.
dog.
It's
You
a
know,
high driven friggin' missile.
Yeah.
So, for example, when we start to use a canine, we need to understand what kind of environment we have, what kind of culture we have, what kind of use of the canine we really need. Because, for example, it's for the crowd control. For example, it's good to have a Malinois. 100% no. Why no? Because the Malinois is tiny. It's not a big dog. Also for the impression for the people, and
Hmm.
in the crowd control, the impression, the presence is really important. So it depends on what kind of use. Because if we is a Pacific, you know, situation, probably is not the best way to come here with a canine, because it's a sort of escalation to have a canine
Sure.
there. But when we
Sure.
need to use in a tactical way, to have a Malinois probably is not the best way. Maybe it's better to have another kind of breed, another kind of behavior, type of dog, and also for detection, for whatever. So we need to understand. We need to be wide on that. We need to be to open our mind and say, for example, this Swedish muscle work, it's amazing. Many people can go to YouTube and say Swedish muscle work to see this kind of work. This is a really teamwork. in which there is a chase. When there is a chase, but the handler have to walk to run towards the dog, and the team have to work and to run.
Mm-hmm.
So when the dog are going to fight, they are going back for safety, of course, because when the dog bites, if I am under the influence of drugs or alcohol,
Yep.
yes, you can bite me, but I have this hand this is off, and I can use knife, I can use weapon, I can use everything.
Yep.
And the dogs, it's ending. It's an ending story. If the dog is going back and we have the backup team in the back, maybe something is different. So we need to rethink. We need to think about out of the box usually sometimes, and not just okay. We need to have a Malinois. We need to have a bite dogs. We need to use this kind of tools. That's it. We have different tools. Like I said, dancing hammer. Use for what is really need to use. Not just because my past former instructor, handler have done something like that. They've worked, so needs to work right now. It
Yep.
depends. It depends.
Absolutely.
I got a question only
I appreciate
because I have a Doberman. What's your opinion of a Doberman as a police dog?
I think the Doberman is a really good. I love the Doberman. I mean, for aesthetic is one of. I think of course, it's just my opinion. It's one of the most amazing dog, of course.
Hey, there you go.
And
But-
Dobermans are great, but you just have to also look at the olfactory differences between a
Yeah.
Doberman, a Sherbin, a German Shepherd, and then a Mal. And the olfactory is a lot shorter, and that's just the membranes that wrap around the nose. If you were a veterinary surgeon and you took those membranes out, the Dobermans is going to go down to I think it's the L2 in length. And if you take out a Malinois or a Shepherd's, it's going to go all the way to the tail. So the overload that those two dogs have are night and day. Now, a Doberman has the right drive. It has the right look.
Yeah, he looks badass.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
My
you know,
Doberman does not look badass.
no,
My
you're
Doberman
just
still has
sleeping
his
most
ears.
of the time. Like,
Yeah, I didn't crop his ears. He still has his ears. His tail is docked. I didn't have a choice. I rescued him. The mother turned on the litter, and so I rescued him at like 8 weeks. I never had a Doberman. It was just a impulse thing to help save a dog. I love dogs in general. I am not canine trained, so I'm listening to you two talk, and I'm chatting in the comments. I'm like, I'm just smiling and nodding because I love it. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any expertise in the game, so I can't speak on it. So for me, I really love, like, the Doberman was one of the biggest surprises to me. I'm a bird dog guy. I like bird dogs, and I know a lot about bird dogs. I have a GSP, a German Shorthair. It's my second one. I really love bird dogs, and they're really fun. They're really smart, but I never had a big dog breed like a Doberman. And not only did I get a big dog breed, he's a freak for his breed. He's like 105 pounds and he's super tall. And I didn't know that. The vet told us like he's like taller than normal. And he's just a good dog. He's so smart. He protects. I mean, he's actually kind of a sissy because he'll bark and he'll act a big game. But if Banning were to like press at him, he's gonna back up. But he's only gonna back up just enough. Like he's not gonna attack you, but he'll sit there and bark at you, which is what you want, I would think. I was just curious how they work. I've never seen one as a cop dog ever.
And there's some use cases with that, Eric, and I've actually got some articles on Dobermans. Back in the 80s, they used them a lot up in the Northeast because it was a cheaper breed at the time.
Really?
But the biggest thing, depending on what, I'm not going to go down because I'm going to bore everybody in the friggin' chat. You have to look at the drive and character of a dog before you even look at exposing them to training. So regardless of the breed, if they cannot pass the drive and character prior to what we're going to do when we go select a pack of 50 dogs and we're looking for the top 5 out of that pack. I mean, we're looking for dogs that are going to overcome fear. You're getting a bite suit on with a fake knife and you're turning around and you're conducting what's called a courage test. These dogs may all engage a suit or a bad guy, but then when you turn around and you come at them with a knife, are they cowering down or are they shooting through that and still engaging? Because if you're going to have a dog on the street that's going to protect people, they've got to be able to pass that. And a lot of people don't understand that. And
Oh,
Yeah.
if you're going to
interesting.
have a true patrol dog, you've got to be able to push that through. But not even on the patrol side. I mean, these, are they going to be
Yeah.
impressionable on scent tracking? Can we break them out there and do actually long form tracking? And that's a lot of training. And then the drug training. A lot of states now,
Yeah.
marijuana is legal. So you can't have a pre-impressioned marijuana dog. These states, you got to start them from scratch. And marijuana can't be in that repertoire of
I
what
didn't
they're
think about
sniffing.
that.
So, I mean, there's just a
Yeah.
lot of legalities. And canine now is really tough. And one time I'll bring on, he's a good friend of mine, but he's a CEO of Global Canine out of Alabama, and I'll have to bring him on here because he's a great guy. He was also friends with Terry Fleck. I used to know Terry Fleck before he passed away, and he's a guy that was really good with canine case law.
Yeah. That's really cool to know. I didn't know any of that. I didn't even think about that. I will tell you, and this, if you would have asked Eric Levine in whenever I started policing shit, 2006, 2006, if you would have asked me then about having dogs and having dogs that go and bite people and do all that, I'd have been like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I can tell you, almost 20-year officer Levine, I don't want to see dogs get hurt. I don't want to see them get hurt.
100%.
I love them too
Same
much.
with me.
And so like
Yeah.
as far as bite dogs and stuff, I'm just like, oh, did you have to send the dog in on that? Like I get nervous for them, and I know they love it, and I know they have the drive for it, and all of that. I get all of that, and I just, I just can't anymore. I don't know. You change, you change over the years. The way you police changes. Everything changes. Your perspective is different, and tickets that I would have wrote when I first started, I would never write them today, and just things like that. And so I think I'm reading Penn Devil Pup's thing. He goes, I love Dobermans too. My sister had one a long time ago. Good canine. Yeah, they're great dogs. So I'm curious, Andre, what is your, I'm sorry, Bo Jackson, what is your opinion now of bite dogs and throwing a dog into something that could be dangerous for them?
Like I said to Banning, is that I think that could be used in a certain situation, but really certain situation.
Yeah.
There is multiple other tools that we can use. I mean in the K9, not just apart from the robotic K9 right now that are pretty. You changed my name in Bo Jackson.
Well done, Alan.
Bye-bye.
Well done.
And,
I
I hate you. And,
that's so good. Perfect.
What was the topic? Sorry, I forgot.
We were talking about putting
You
dogs
are
into bite
welcome.
positions.
So there is other tool. For example, I strongly believe sometimes in certain situation in the muscle work, but need to have a reframe about the teamwork,
Yeah.
because if you are the only handler that are running, towards the Malinois that is now probably 2 kilometers from you, this could be the muscle work probably it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Also, I think also about the detection dog also is something that I need to change. But the most important thing that I think that really needs to change is not the technique on the dog. Usually, the response of the canine when something goes wrong is that we need to train more. Sometimes yes, but we need to understand. I mean, this is the thing that I work for 20 years. That when something goes wrong, usually the 90% is not the dog, it's the handler. But not because the handler is bad, it's because it's a human. And if we don't consider the human side, we are completely out of the roads. I mean, the handler is one of the most important parts of the canine unit. The dogs, trained dogs, know what he or she have to do, if it's good training, of course. But we need to reframe about this kind of situation in which mm, most of the canine work depends on the behavior, on the habits, on the mindset of the handler, day by day. For this reason that I said, I think in general, I prefer to have my dog, my canine, with me in my house. But at the same way, it depends, because if we have, verbal violence in the house, my habits are not the good habits, my mind is not a good mind, we have a problem, because it's not just
Yes,
a gun or a rifle.
agreed.
Yeah.
It's a it's a dog, so have his own behavior, have his own emotion, have his own habits, and everything depends. We created the dogs, probably. I don't know. I was not there at the time. I'm 44, so I'm not thousands of years. So probably we created the dogs for,
Yeah.
for what we know. So we need to have the responsibility on that to say, okay, everything depends on us. We are the handler. We hand the dog. It's not the dog that hands us. It's not just a tool to send, hey, let's go there and buy this guy, this bad guy.
Right,
No,
Yeah.
right.
no,
Yeah.
because this is the last consequence of everything that happened
Yep,
before than that. It is not just the training.
yep. And,
It's
and and I've got to
you know
add to that because it's a lot of people say, it's less lethal, it's okay to use. It is the very highest of less lethal because you can get bone damage, nerve damage.
Oh yeah.
I've been bit. People that see my left arm, Eric's seen it, Alan's seen it. I broke my radius and my ulna on the first day of training with my dog that was named Diesel. He said, "You know what? You're a big SOB and so am I. And I'm going to eat your friggin' lunch for training today." And he did. And he put me in my place, and it gave me that much more of a respect of what dogs need to be used for and how they need to be used properly. And people send me videos in the canine world all the time on asking me, did that dog legally indicate on a car? And I've got to be able to watch the video. I can only give my opinion on it, but yes, I believe that there probably are bad, just like we have a small percentage of bad law enforcement. There's bad canine officers out there that are circumventing warrants. And that's why I like to have the eye for that and look at it. We've got to make sure that these dogs are out there that are just as equal as we are if we're conducting that type of activity.
I like it.
Yeah, the thing is that, for example, the last time when I make a no, was not a conf, it was a class for the K9, and usually it was a class about the cadaver detection dog. With the instructor from Mexico, very good. Of course, we work with a lot of clandestine graves. Of course, it sounds really
That
bad.
you
Of
do
course, but
there, yeah.
every day, more or
Yeah.
less, with the cartel or whatever. So, what was the problem? That, hey, do you know that, for example, I don't work in the technique, but do you understand that if you start to work with your dog, and less than 10 seconds before to work with your dog, you was in your social, looking and scroll at the social, Instagram, to say something, you are completely unfocused to work on the dog. And from neurological system, you need to have to from 10 to 17 minutes before to regain the focus. So how could you possibly think that your training are going to be good? Yeah, but the dog have to work. No, the dog have to work, but you have to work like handler too. So you need to put your fucking phone off
Right.
at least 30 minutes before to start the training.
Yeah.
Breathe, focus on your dog, focus on the situation, and let's go to work.
Yeah. It,
But this is from the human side. It's
yeah.
not the dogs.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's no different than, and again, I'm not a canine trainer, so anybody out there listening, like, what the fuck you talking about, Levine? But it's just like when you go to do a workout, for instance, if you're gonna go for a run, and you want your breathing and your muscle groups and everything to be good, you don't just go from a sit still into running. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you're not going to be at optimal training. You need to warm up. You need to stretch. You need to get your body has to switch into a different mode. I can't think of the name of the words because I've been drinking a lot of whiskey, but there's certain forms that the body goes into to get into that training mode versus that sitting still mode. And it's the same concept. You're muted, Banning. I don't know what you just said.
I said catabolic and anabolic.
Yes. So you can't just jump into it. You're not going to be at optimal training. And it's the same thing with your animal, to what you guys are saying. So you gotta get away from the distractions. You gotta get everything into the right mindset. Just like your body, when you go to work out, you need to trigger your body to hit that peak performance. And by doing that, you warm up. You let your body know, oh, we're about to do this, and this is what we're going to get into. Because if you don't, you could trigger, especially at our age now, Bo Jackson. We
Why?
can,
I 44, 24. What do you want?
24. Listen to this guy. I don't want to believe you.
What the heck, man?
Yeah, he's right. This fucking guy. They missed the whole conversation before we got on.
Yeah, that's okay.
We talked about Italian hand motions, and one of the ones is
that is very bad.
That's very bad, yeah. So Harrison jumped into the chat. What's up, Harrison?
What's up, Harrison? How you doing, buddy?
Harrison's one of our original OGs as well. I know we got Ryan Lands in the house, and some other guys at Marine Bloods. All of our mods seem to be going crazy tonight. I love it. I like seeing the activity. So just a shout out to everybody. And that's where I'm coming to. Brandar 86, member for 13 months. So big shout out to Brandar. He is definitely a person that contributes quite a bit. Brandar and I go back and forth all the time. I love it. Because we just are able to pick each other's brains and have civil discourse. Is basically the way I like to put it, because he's constantly coming up with different ways to challenge thoughts and ideas, and I try to give my perspective as a cop. Sometimes I reach him, sometimes I don't. Sometimes he reaches me, sometimes he doesn't. But he is one of our old school guys, and we really appreciate his support because he does a lot for our country, and he does a lot for the show. So big shout out to Brandar. But he said his message is, need a tracker dog, hits for drugs versus success rate of findings. K9s may get used to being praised when they find nothing. LEO's praise before even before it conducts search to verify the sniff was good. So I think what he's getting at is false positives because of praise to the dog. So what is your thoughts on avoiding that, and how do we know that the dog's actually getting a good hit versus just wanting praise?
Is for me or for betting?
That's for you. That's for you.
It's hard to say. I think that everything depends on the K9 itself, on the K9 unit itself. I think the dog in general is more intelligent at what we are thinking about usually. Usually we're thinking about, okay, good work, pray, and traits, and good work, and something like that. Or there is something that for me it's fun. I mean, it's fun right now. That when you're looking for searching dogs, it's like, okay, let's go, boy, search, let's go, nice, guys, go. It's like to try to motivate all the time. Why do you have to motivate? You think your dog is so stupid? You have to be motivated every second? It's like, right. Really? The praise, I think that the rewards needs to have to be the search itself, not to find, but the search itself. This is the reward.
Okay. I never thought of it that way.
So yeah, I mean, I think that the phase of the training there is multiple phases. There is just one phase. Yes, of course, you have to motivate your dog, because You know, in general, the dog are already able to discriminate every kind of odor from the beginning of their life. They have to find, the milk of his mother. Think about the street dogs. That are, maybe they are, they're living in the trash. They have to discriminate from the real beginning of this life, to really to find what is the way to be feeded from the mom.
Yeah, get
Okay.
good food versus getting poisoned. Yeah.
So they already know something like that. Of course, we need to focus on what we are looking for, explosive, substances, cadavers, or whatever, but so it's in phases. But there is ending phase, more or less. In general, no, the training is constant, but at the same way, there is a way in which the dog is formed, is shaped. Okay, so I think that if we made a good work, the search itself is the reward, not the reward for findings, but the search itself. I don't care. For example,
Wait, you can't say
also,
that. You said it wrong.
no, yeah, no, that we can use.
Sideways versus
You try to confuse me, and
This fucking dog.
this is the way when we move up. You have to understand that if you want to speak Italian,
Okay.
it's not just speaking.
Okay.
It's also the body language. We have a lot of body language. So if we stop like that, okay, it's one way. If we
Okay.
do something like this, it's what the fuck. So it's different.
Okay.
Okay, okay, I was able to solve this problem. So you see confused. I already lost my thought.
Yo,
My bad.
all in the
I thought he
fingers.
was saying "fuck the dog." That's what I thought he said.
Yeah. So the search itself has to be the reward, okay? And at the same, if we made a good work at the end of when we shape the dog, I think for first we are talking about, for example, the focus of the trainer, blah blah blah. The thing is that when the team is shaped, the team is trained, then we make another step forward, which sometimes we are talking about the scenario, okay, the real world scenario. But I think we have a big gap on that, because the real world scenario has to be real and have to be a scenario, but it's not just in 10 minutes of scenario. Because when we start with a scenario, we already know that something happened. The dog probably, yes, they already know, but we know that. So our emotion, our adrenaline, our odor makes change. So the dogs know that something, hey, daddy, something happened right now. Okay. So we need to make forward on that and make real world scenario that is not just 1 hour, 2 hour. Maybe it could be days of scenario,
Yeah.
And so, and the dog for the dog is the same. So it's like I said, it's not the dog, just the dog, is the team. So to work with the team, to come back to the topic, is that work with your handler for the dog have to be the reward itself. It's not
I
a
like
treat.
that.
It's not a piece of food or a toy
Yeah.
or whatever it was. Is the work with the handler.
Yeah.
And for the handler, have to work with the dog.
Because
This have to be the end.
I think the whole point of this conversation and why he brought that question up is because we have found police with police dogs that have had bad hits. And then you got to go into the training and you got to go, what are we supporting that is causing these dogs to have bad hits? Is it the dogs? Is it because the dogs are unreliable? I don't think it's because the dogs are unreliable. I honestly think it's poor training. So
100%.
So if we're going to fix the problem, we got to ensure that the training is consistent across the board. So
There's sometimes, I think that usually sometimes it's not the answer that we need to looking for, is the question that we need to looking for. So when something goes wrong, is that what I've done, what I have done
yeah,
that didn't work it. Because I think that usually sometimes when we think about outside, we have no control outside. I have no control of my dogs. You said, yeah, your dog is under control. Bullshit. Your dog is not under control. It's a it's not a person. It's it's not a human being. Sorry, I lost the word, but it's an individual. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
so it's, yeah, basically could be a little bit under control, can follow your orders sometimes, but it's not under control. You are not under my control. For you, I'm not under your control. So, but the only thing that we can control, not so much sometimes, it's ourselves. I can control myself. I can control the training that I can do with my dog. I can control the behavior I can have with my dog, the habit that I have. If I smoke, I don't smoke. It's my control. It's not the cigarette. It's my control. I am in control. So I can do for myself. So the question have to be reframed. It's not the dog, why the dog have make some mistake. What I've done for the reason why the dog have make this kind of mistake.
Ah.
Because I am in control. So I
Yeah.
can do something. Better training, different habits of the handler, different habits of the system, different habits of deployment of the K9. There are multiple questions,
Yeah.
multiple answers, but we need to reframe the question. The question have
Gotcha.
to be reframed. This is
Okay.
just my opinion, of course.
I like it. All right. We are an hour and 20 in, and we haven't got to the H factor yet.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to switch gears. You came here because you wanted to talk about the H factor. I want to know what the H factor is and where it came about. So, sir, I'm going to give you the floor, and I want you to let's redirect. Let's go down this path that is your business these days. Tell us what's going on.
The edge factor usually is the human factor. I think, like I said before, so something comes out, just also before. I think that the most important asset of every system, every business, every unit is the person itself, is the human being. Sometimes when usually the response for every time that something happen is sometimes could be the training. I don't think that is wrong, but I think that we need to reframe sometimes that is the training, is the policy, is the politics, or like I said, for example, in the recruiting right now, we have a lot of problem for the recruiting that many people say that, oh, the people right now, this generation doesn't work to make the police officer no more the police officer. We need to understand that, like human, we are evolving all the time, and the system have to evolve itself. In Probably in 2002, I don't know here, but in 2002, when I joined the national police, we were a generation where, yeah, was looking for meaning, but it's like also more, you know, understand to, okay, I will follow the order, I will follow the rules without not so much question sometimes. The new generation is different, is looking for meaning. So when you say something, you say, okay, you have to stay there and do something like that. Probably the question in the mind is why I have to stay in the, in this side of the roads, make traffic stop. Why I have to do something like that? So if we do the same response, it's like, because you have to do that, probably you are making some mistake. Okay. I don't think that we need to be so, it's the police officer, or it's a tough work, of course. But the same way we need to reframe. So what's the point? The point is that everything depends on us, the system, the policy, the deployment, the training. Everything depends on the human factor, on the human side of everything, on the human side of the weapon, of the human side of the canine, of the human side of the crowd control, of the human side of the patrol. So when you work with the law enforcement, mostly in the law enforcement, like I said, you are not a cop and then after you are Eric, Alan, Benning, Andrea. You are Andrea, Benning, Alan, Eric, simply with a uniform of law enforcement. So if we don't work on ourselves with our habits, our behavior, our consciousness of what we are doing, why we are doing, what is the method of our decision to make good or bad decision, our habits every day, what we are reading, what we are studying, how we use our briefing. Okay, our use, as I say, something is not new age. Okay, it's not new age. We meditate or we don't meditate. It's not meditation like like the guru that says something like that. The Navy SEAL use the meditation for the what if every day to understand what could happen, to understand, to be there. Why this reason? This is the reason why, because when we are going, this is scientific shown that if we are thinking deeply in something, we are going to create our other neuronal connection without making the experience. We don't need the experience itself, but we are going to deep dive in our thinking, in our what if, in our meditation. In this case, meditation seems, it is just the meaning of meditation is just focusing on something.
Right.
Okay, we are going to create our neuronal, connection different.
Hmm.
And more we are going to create this connection, more we are able to work on what's really happening every day in the streets. That is different. Every day is different. Okay. For the K9, the K9 and the crowd control is not the topic. The K9 as the crowd control is very easy to watch the effect of this kind of situation, because it's immediately, it's immediate. Because the response of the dog is 1 second, you have the response of the dog. The crowd control is the same. 1 second, you have the response of the crowd. There could be a good response or a bad response. So it depends. So I think that to be a law enforcement actually in 2026, we need to reframe not just the training, but we need to reframe how we are looking for, what we are looking for, and how we are going to train. That is not just the tactical. Tactical training is good, but it's not the only response that we need to have to work in the law enforcement. Have to be a complete human being with different aspect, you know, and we need to treat it with the different, not just to say, yes, we need to make this kind, because in our agency, no, we need to work really on that. Really, we need to work on that, with specific programs, with specific environments, from the last officer or last deputy to the command staff,
Yep.
because the command staff is not something outside of the system, or like the last officer is out of the system. We are all together in the system. So we need to reframe something like that. We need to reframe also the concept of the leadership. What really is the leadership? Is the same for everybody, is the same for every agency. It depends in the end of the culture, because probably the leadership that we are going to think about leadership here probably could be different from the leadership that we are thinking in Italy, or the leadership that we are thinking in Mexico, or the leadership that we are thinking, I don't know, in South Africa. Probably could be different. And I think that we need to do something like that. And it's hard to explain all the aspect of this kind of human factor side, because the human is so complicated sometimes. But we need to start in some place. We need to start from something, And for this reason, that when I work in the K9, I at the end of the 2012, more or less, I watch it outside and I say, hey, there is so many technical trainers that are really, really, really good, more than me, really, And but why most of this kind of units, training instructor, they don't focus on the most important aspect of the K9, that is the human aspect, that makes really a difference from the instructor to the handler, and so I completely focus on that, making all the study, all the research about, neurological aspect, habits, leadership, from the point of view of the humans. Okay. And trying to make this kind of huge things, that is to reframe also the system, because the system is created for human. Like I said, I always said that is the system is not like a sort of, something that, okay, what is the system? I cannot touch the system, I cannot smell the system. the system is created, is something that is not shown, is something created for the human. So we create the system, we can modify the system. Sometimes we need to destroy something of the system to create something better.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to have this kind of
That's
mentality.
the
And this is
American
sometimes-
way.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I mean, that's the foundation of America. And actually, that's kind of a fitting point. Brandar just, he dropped 1,000 yen.
Yes.
Thanks, buddy. He's like, that's 3 cents American. You're welcome. I don't know what it is. I'm just giving busting his balls. But thank you very much, Brandar. Appreciate that, sir. He said, to me, it seems officers think, is it against policy rather than should I do this? LEOs read policy more than the law to keep their job. The qualified immunity shields from crimes because it's not clearly established. So I'll address it first, and Banning, I'll let you go. The way that I'm looking at what Brandar's saying is I don't know that this is, I mean, this is kind of a vague statement. I can't say that every officer thinks this way. Do I think some do? Sure, I do. Is it how I think? No. Is it how I've been around other officers? I would say the majority of the officers I've been around don't. They think, is this right or is this wrong versus is this against policy? But I've seen officers stand by to the wayside and not engage because it's against policy. And that was not $666. You got that wrong. There you go. I was like, he did not. That's a demonic. That's a demonic number there, sir. Appreciate you, Brandar. Thank you, sir. But to my point, I think, in my experience, I can't speak for all law enforcement, and I'm not going to pretend to talk for all law enforcement. But in my experience, most do think about what is right versus what is wrong, more so than what is against policy. I can tell you this 100%. I have never in my life, ever, and I ain't, where's the camera? I've never heard this ever out of a single cop's mouth that they were thinking, I've got qualified immunity, I'm fine. That has never fucking happened. Not a single time. I've never heard a cop even mention qualified immunity until their ass was in trouble and go, oh my God, do I qualify for immunity? That's the only, like, it's not even a thought in their brain. So that's an honest to God's truth. I'm telling you exactly, in my law enforcement career, I've never heard of a person go, I got qualified immunity. Let's roll the dice on this. I've never fucking heard that. Not one time. I'm not going to say that the cops don't think that way. I don't know. I can't speak for every cop, but I've never heard of that. Not once. I've never heard a cop say that. So that's just my experience. Doesn't make me right. Doesn't make me wrong. But I agree with you, Brandar, that that's how cops should behave. Kind of to the point of what Bo Jackson did in Italy. He saw a problem and he's like, I can't work for this. I got to get out of here. This isn't me. And he jumped ship. And that's awesome. That's what you hope. It doesn't always happen overnight. Some people, you do have to work out your family and in your life and everything like that. So I'm never going to say that, oh, you should have just jumped ship immediately the moment you disagree. No, that's not realistic. You got a bigger picture, handle what you can, take care of your family, do what you got to do, and get out of there and stand up for what you believe in. I agree with that, but it doesn't happen overnight. Same with cops when they deal with things in the street. I may see something where I know I don't have the legal ability to do what I'm thinking because I know what that person did was wrong. I have to go through the right steps to ensure that cop gets handled appropriately. Because if I do what feels right, it's going to be wrong in the eyes of the court, and I'm going to fuck the whole case up. So you just got to understand how the system works sometimes. From where we're at, to make sure all the ducks go in a row, and it doesn't always look the best to the public. One of the best examples I can give is the sergeant that grabbed the female officer by the neck and pushed her back. I know everybody wanted to see that. The cops just arrest that sergeant on the spot. I'm telling you, that's not the right move. The courts aren't going to see that as the right move. No, the system is not going to see that as the right move. They're going to want to see an internal investigation. They're going to want to see that all the steps were followed to ensure that maybe that sergeant didn't see something that nobody else saw. Because what if all of a sudden we find out that guy had a knife on him that female officer didn't see? Now, that's not what happened, but I'm just saying. So you don't want to jump the gun too quickly and be wrong and screw everything up. So to Brandar's point, I agree with you. And that's how I want to see it. But every once in a while, you just got to understand that sometimes policy saves your ass to do the right steps to follow the law so things get handled appropriately so you do the right thing. That's a lot of cop-splaining I just did right there. I'm so sorry for that. That was so much cop-splaining.
Bootlicker.
that was a lot of bootlicker explanation. I admit that. God, that was terrible, wasn't it? It was really bad. I apologize, guys, but that's how my brain's working on that one.
But really, like, to add to the point of it, none of us get in this line of work to worry about saving our ass. Like, it's like you were saying at the end, you're like, oh shit, I messed up, and there has to be a human piece to all of this because I don't want RoboCop and come throw me, although we do have banning. I don't want RoboCop to come and throw me in the back of the cop car because I threw a piece of gum down on the sidewalk. In Brownfield, Texas, it's still illegal to spit on the sidewalk. It is written in the in the city ordinances that it is against
really?
the law. Yeah, it is one of the old school laws that
I'm not enforcing that one.
Yeah, it's like when you read the civil charter, it's like, really, that's still on the books?
Like having unnatural colored chickens.
Right. Like okay. First off, who was the guy that went, that's a problem? But,
right. In Texas, Bo Jackson, you cannot paint your chickens unnatural colors. So like you can't spray paint them or anything like that.
Fuchsia.
Nice. Yeah, I watched some rules also in Florida that you cannot feed your alligator with hallucinating mushrooms or something like that. But when I read something like that, I said, that's real?
Is that frowned upon? That's wrong?
I love United States. I love United States.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to see what happens to an alligator when you give it hallucinating mushrooms.
Yeah, I should like to do something to watch something like that.
Okay, so funny story. I worked as a school police officer for many years. One night there was about 6 kids break into the middle school, and they do fun middle school kid things that you think would not be a problem. At the end, they broke into the ice cream machine and stole all the ice cream and tore up the library. So that's where they got in trouble. But they also stole the science lizard from science class. And, I
like these kids. They know how to party.
Told there was a picture of the lizard smoking a joint. And I probably worked just as hard to find the picture as I did to find the lizard. And yes, we did find the lizard, but I was
very lethargic.
I really wanted to find that picture.
Never have to go to the find the lizard and say, do you want to make a complaint about that? Or?
Yeah. Do you want to be a victim? That's funny. Yeah. Oh shit. So to Brandar's point, and I think I saw he had a follow-up. He said, aren't officers supposed to shout the weapon they see for everyone's awareness? I would say standard practice for a new officer, and I've got 4 officers. There's 4 of us here. I know me. If I'm into something, I'm very calm about when I see something. I'm not a yeller, period. I don't yell things out hardly at all. If you hear me yelling, there's something totally strange going on. Every time I've ever seen a weapon, I'm like, hey, gun right hip, gun right hip. Like, I'm letting them know I see a gun, and I'm letting them know where I see it. And I'm very chill about it. And I don't think yelling and screaming anything ever really helps, ever. I've always had that mindset. I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught to just yell gun either. That's never been, I guess that's never been trained to me. But I do know that there are people that they've been taught to yell out, just to what Brandar's point is, to yell out gun, 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 gun. That's never been taught to me. Just to identify, I see a weapon. Hey, partner, gun, right hip. Like, or, if it's a traffic stop and my partner's on the other side of the car, I'll look over the hood or over the top of the car and let them know, like, hey, we call them a 32. Hey, there's 32 in the center console. Like, we're not freaking out about it, but it's Texas. We have guns here. It is what it is. So have I seen videos of cops yelling out, gun, 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 and they freak out? Yeah, I've seen it. So it's in the culture of training somewhere. To Bo Jackson's point about, the human factor is, if you don't play these mental games in your head, if I'm understanding what he was talking about, if you don't play these mental games in your head and you're not trained to, all right, what if I see a gun when I walk up to this car? What am I going to do? Are they allowed to have a gun? I need to know this. If I go up there and I don't have a plan and I see a gun and I don't think about the legality of just owning a gun, I'm going to overreact. But if I think, I'm in Texas, motherfucker, everybody's got a gun. So him having a gun's not going to be a big deal. It's what he does that makes it a big deal. If he's got a gun and he's like, starts trying to go for it, now we've got a fucking problem. But having a gun in itself isn't a problem.
So that brings up a good question. So coming from Italy, where the citizens didn't carry guns, and then you come to America and you interact with people that are carrying guns, like, what was your mentality? Did you struggle with that? Or
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it's question of habits, of mentality, in which,
culture.
like in Texas, everybody have a gun, so it's not a big deal, like you said. No, and in Italy, where almost nobody have a gun or weapon in general, um, if it's pretty uncommon for me. I remember the first travel to United States in 2008, 9, I remember, where I first watched a man with a gun, okay, with a open carry gun. It was not a police officer, of course. I was so surprised, and I was so like, really, also, like police officer, we cannot carry a gun. I mean, not in uniform, with an open carry. Have to be a concealed carry. So was completely surprised. So it's important to reframe. But like I said, if you have this kind of neuronal connection that are going to create every neural connection, you are more flexible to understand differences and to adapt to the differences. Not to, like, okay, it's something that also there are emotion. I still right now, watch someone that is not a police officer with a gun. I'm still have my emotion that are, I'm not so, quiet and say, that's fine. Okay, I'm still in emergency mode. Okay, but at the same way, I think it's important to understand that every situation, every environment, every culture is different. So if you are going to create in your mind your way to handle, situation, is the best way, like you said, Eric, right now. That, okay, have you ever think about make a traffic stop and see a handgun on the cockpit, for example? No, I never done something like that, because in my country nobody have a gun.
Right.
Yes, so what? So could be a problem, because you can underestimate or overestimate something. Okay, but if you play this kind of game, that is a serious game. It's
Yeah.
not just a game; it's a serious game. You can handle more situation. You can be more focused on what you are going to do. And like I said, everything depends on our habits, our feeding. I don't know if you know something about feeding in, feeding out. Trash in, trash out. If you are eat trash, we are going to, you know,
Yeah.
to comes out with trash. So it's really important to be conscious of that and be a complete man or woman. Okay, not just something that wear a badge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed. Agreed. And I saw Mike's comment in there that carrying a gun's a constitutional right. I agree. I'm not debating that, but there are actions that you can't do during, let's say, a lawful traffic stop or whatever. You can own a gun, but that doesn't mean you can start grabbing such gun and manipulating it while on a traffic stop. That's not reasonable. That is not a reasonable action, um, unless something else is going on. I've actually heard of this before where a person was pulled over for a traffic stop and a shootout was happening across the street. And you see the driver start reaching for his gun. He's like, I'm getting my gun. And the officer was like, yeah, get your gun. Like, because he had a right to protect himself. Like, that is reasonable. So, Brandar's asking, and let's get to the question side, guys. Let's open this up. We're hour and 45 in. I want you guys to be able to ask our guest as many questions as you want now. So we're going to open that up. And the first one, Brandar said, police overestimate for their safety. I think he's asking for clarification when you said they overestimate or they underestimate.
Overestimate. It depends on what is meaning of overestimate. I mean, in my mind, I try to. My question in general is, I want to be prepared at worst to live at the best. So when I do something, even if it's something that I have done for many times, because for a traffic stop in 10 years, you can do the traffic stop I don't know how many times, or some call like domestic violence or whatever, probably is thousands of this kind of call. This is the another part of the human factor. I mean, for the mentality in which you need to have habits on focus. It's always a habit, also a sort of ritual, for example, from the beginning of your shift at the end of your shift. Do you have a ritual to start your shift and a ritual to end your shift, to don't take, sorry for the bad words, all the shit of your shift at home? Do you have this kind of ritual?
Right.
So the overestimate, yes, in my mind, I prefer to overestimate. I mean, to think at worst, to be prepared for the best. I always think I don't know, this is just my point, but when I make a traffic stop, it's like I think that someone wants to fight with me all the time, but not my behavior. It would be with someone that want to fight with me. It's just my thinking. I'm prepared for that. So if something goes wrong, goes better, that something that makes, I don't know, just a little bit, speeding or something like that, that is so polite. Hey, thanks for your service. That's fine, perfect. But in my mind, I prefer to be prepared at the worst. But I reach this kind of habits in time. But it's an habit. It's a mind habit. It's a behavioral habit that right now is more like unconscious. It's not conscious right now. It's like when we start to drive. The first time that you are sitting in the driver's seat, probably you have to think about, turn, your engine on, and you have to think about, the mirror. You have to think about the wheels. You need to think about many stuff. But if you acquire good habits, right now you are able to drive without all this kind of consciousness. But at the same way, you are focused on what you are doing. So the thing is that all depends on the habits, all depends on the mindset, all depends on the we are looking for, and how we can prepare our mind. Because we can prepare our mind, we also be able to prepare our body. I think the mind is really more powerful than the body. The body have a consequence of the mind. So
Yeah.
this is my point. Just to say, I don't know what is the meaning of overestimate, if something that, but I try to reframe what is the meaning for me of overestimate the situation.
Gotcha. Ryan asked, "Is there training involved with getting a firearm in Italy?"
Training involved with getting a firearm. I mean, if with a traffic stop or something like that.
No, no, no. So if like a civilian
Mm,
earned the right to be able to have a firearm, like you said, he appealed and said, "I'm in danger because of this," and they're like, "Okay, you
no.
can have a firearm." Is there training that they have to get just to have that?
To have that, you have, yeah, there is a sort of course, but they are, just for precision with the weapon, safety and precision. You
So
have
there
to
is
go.
something that they have to go through.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you have to, for example, for the hunting is more or less like, I don't know, in Texas, but here in Colorado, you have to pass, your
Right.
tests about, animals, what is possible to shoot, is not possible to shoot, or whatever.
Right.
For a handgun, you have to make application with the local police or with the national police, sorry, and then you have to go through different steps that are handgun safety and at the range. But it's a normal range. You have, your target, and you have to show that on 12 rounds, 10 are on the on the target.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
Well,
There is
and you,
nothing about tactical or I protect myself.
yeah.
Nothing about that. You have to
It,
do it by your own if you
it,
want.
it, it is more than what you have to do here. If you want to carry here, you just got to be the right age.
Yeah,
Um,
no, no. Here in it's at the contrary. It's more free for alcohol rather than here in the United States, in Italy. But for the weapon is different, opposite. So
yeah.
yeah, it is very rigid. Just to tell you, in Spain is even worse. In Spain, if you have a airsoft gun, okay, just
Okay.
it's a toy, okay,
Right.
you need to have a permission for the local police. And if you have, I imagine that I am in Denver, I need to go to war to play in another city. You need to ask to the other city to go there and to make a game there. So with our airsoft gun, we
Yeah.
are talking about airsoft gun.
Okay. Tim asked, "Can the police ever get in trouble for being too rough on citizens?" I think he's talking about
Um,
Italy.
More or less, it depends. We don't wear body cam. We don't have a cam on the patrol car.
No body cams.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
So it depends. If we have a lot of people around with a mobile phone, if a police officer makes something bad, yes, can be a problem. But it's hard for the citizen to show that the police officer makes something bad. Unfortunately, this is something that I don't really like. I mean, I think that the body can be really good for many reasons, for the protection of the officer, because
Yeah.
you can show that something really happened, and also sometimes also for the protection of the citizen. And we need to understand, like I said, just at the beginning, uh, I think the majority of the police officer make this kind of work because they feel this kind of work. But we, like all the human system, we can also understand that sometimes we have some people that are going to do this job because they are just an ass. And I'm completely aware of that. I don't know, United States, I have found all the people really good right now.
Yeah.
So, but in the other experience, yeah, the majority are really good people. We have also,
Um,
someone that makes some mistake, and
I
this
gotcha.
is good to, you know.
Okay. Mike asked a good question. Do they have the equivalent of qualified immunity for officers in Italy? No.
Nope. No.
Okay. So officers can be sued?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
officers can be sued and they can obviously be held criminally liable for their actions.
Usually, at the contrary, they don't lose their job.
So they just
Uh,
get fired.
yeah. No, no, they cannot. When you join the national police or the Carabinieri or the other law enforcement agency, it's very hard to be fired. You have to commit a really, huge crime like a murder or, robbery. So you will be fired and you're going to the jail. But to the other side, and there are special jail. It's not. It's that sort of military jail. It's not
Oh, okay.
the common jail. And but if you make some minor mistake or something like that, you can be sued. You can be, in a criminal process, but you are not fired usually. Have to be
Okay.
something really huge.
Interesting. Ryan asked, as a LEO in Italy, how do you deal with police that may have a traumatic day, like a shooting where someone loses their life? Are they pulled from duty and given counseling?
Delicate question. Unfortunately, we don't have any kind of support on that.
No.
No, any kind of support. He has said that yes, you can. You can. It's something about in which you can ask for a peer support, but if you ask for a peer support, you will probably lose your badge, use your gun. You cannot work. And for all of your career, I mean, not just for for a week, 2 months, because you are in the process of therapy. This is a mark on your career for all of your life. So usually, 99% of the officer shut up their mouth and don't say anything about any kind of traumatic problem.
Going into that, do you have a high suicide rate for law enforcement there?
Oh yes,
Okay.
really high, really high. We say that yeah, we have more higher incident about suicide rather than other situation
Yep.
in because we don't have any kind of support.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is really sad. Just 1 week ago, we have another officer in Italy that shoot himself for we don't know the reason. We have another one 2 weeks ago, was a really young lady. Was They became a captain. I don't remember, whatever. It's We don't have captain, but more or less they shoot herself is without any kind of reason.
Yeah.
So it's a really sad topic. Yeah, really sad.
Yeah.
Did you, and to capitalize on that, did you guys have, over here we call it the First Amendment auditors? How do police in the old area where you used to work, how would they deal with a citizen that had an iPhone trying to film the encounter with law enforcement?
I mean, they use it. I mean, it is not. We cannot use that for judgment or for process on that, but it's used for the media. So the media, usually the 99% of the media are against the law enforcement in Italy, and they usually, the people send this kind of media to this kind of video, and they media try to cut the exact the frame where is correct for their tales,
To
for
make the
their
cop
story.
look bad.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
So we have a bad relation with the media.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get to Brandar's comment here. He said they are treating the public as the enemy by default at the time. It's equivalent to IT help desk thinking that all users are malicious on computers. So I'm going to push back on this one. This is with the mindset of playing the what if game and thinking that, a citizen could do something. I would say that the question that I would want to know, is it reasonable for an officer to think that somebody could do something bad to them? I think that that's reasonable. We are the we are the face of what puts people behind bars. We're the front-facing part of the criminal justice system. So it isn't unreasonable, just due to the numerous amount of previous encounters where people have either ambushed cops, attacked cops, done all of these things. I would even push back on rational thought that if I didn't think that way, would I be less safe in my job? And I think that that's an obvious answer. I would be. I'm already behind the curve when something goes wrong in law enforcement. If somebody does decide, and I'll fully admit to Brandar, 95% or higher nothing happens. That's how every call goes. 95% of the time, nothing bad does happen. But if you're not preparing mentally for something bad to happen, not only are you going to be behind the curve anyway, you're going to be even further behind the curve. So why would I not give myself every opportunity to live through when shit hits the fan? Because I can tell you right now, playing the what if game has saved my ass more times than I can count. Or has not necessarily saved me from getting hurt, but I'm able to help the bad guy from not getting hurt because I know he's about to run. And so I grab a hold of him. Because why? Because when I wasn't playing the what if game, or when my brain wasn't in the game of doing my police work, I was somewhere else thinking, this kid ain't going to run anyway. And all of a sudden they take off. Now I have to chase them. And then I end up using my taser, or I tackle them. Versus had my head been in the game like I want to be most of the time. We can't be in the game 100% of the time, but had I been playing the what if game and thinking, what if this kid runs, I would have cut him off way before he's able to do anything. I just would have grabbed a hold of him. Hey, got you. Put your hands behind your back. Put the cuffs on. Nobody's hurt. Nothing happened. And I was able to cut it off the pass. Versus not playing that game and thinking, having the mindset, well, if 95% never do anything, then why should you be treating people as an enemy? I'm not treating people as their enemy. I'm just being prepared. That's it. That's how I see it. It's being prepared. No different than the military. No different than a doctor looking at somebody's guts that are open on the table and going, all right, I need to clamp this off and do this now just in case when I go to cut here, if this becomes a bleeder, I've already cut this off at the pass, so it doesn't, rather than thinking, well, 95% of the time when I do this, they don't bleed, so I'm not going to worry about it. You wouldn't do that. But Banning, you look like you got something to say, brother.
No, I'm trying to listen to you and Andrea and read some of these because we have some great questions coming in like we always do. And this is a direct question to Andrea on this is, do you believe U.S. citizens have better protection from their government than citizens in Italy?
Oh.
That's a direct question.
It's a direct question, and I do the same with a direct answer. I am a traveler. I traveled not all around the world, not in all the state. But the reason why I decided to came here for the United States, apart from to be influenced from Magnum PI and A-Team and Beverly Hills Cop, this is a joke.
I like it.
Is because I think that United States is still one of the country where the word's freedoms means something. I think yes, the U.S. citizens are protected. I think, like I said before, that sometimes, I mean, I'm starting to say we right now,
Sure.
even if I don't still have my citizenship, but I feel American. I think it's the only country in the world where you can be proud of your origin, but you are still American. There is no other country in the world. And so I think that sometimes we are not thinking how lucky we are. Even if with all these kind of things that could be better, but it's life. I think. I mean, nothing is perfect. Perfect is dead. So nothing is perfect.
Right.
There's something that could be better. There is something that could be many things that could be worse. And I think that the United States is still one of the countries that, like I said, that words freedom means something that, and there is protection too. Like citizen in Italy, even if I was a police officer, I wasn't never felt myself protected. Here, I feel myself protected.
That's good.
But it's my sensation, it's my feelings. I don't know the feelings of all the people, of course, but I think that sometimes could be great for the people that say a lot of complaints about United States say, hey, come to different country, but not just like tourist.
Yeah.
Because it's different to be tourist or live there like a citizen. It's nice to go to Mexico and, beaches and pina colada and tacos.
Yeah.
Live
Bitches,
there.
I like
Hey,
it.
maybe we
Bitches
are
and
going
pina coladas, yeah.
Or we are going to Italy. Nice. Oh, we are going to Rome. We are going
you
to
said
Milan,
beaches.
Florence.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, beaches. Yeah, sorry. The pronounce is yeah, it's very hard for me to pronounce, from different,
I
the
was
word that,
like, hey,
the
he's
accent
gonna get in trouble, but that's all right.
So it's nice
Love
to
it.
go to Italy. Yeah, it's a nice country to visit. Oh, we have restaurant, we have pizza, we have fettuccine alfredo. No, we don't have fettuccine alfredo. Is an American dish.
That's what I thought.
Period.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
But to live there, it's another question. To live there is another feeling. To live there, where you have, hey, I want to carry a gun. No, you cannot carry a gun. I decide. I am the state. I decide if you carry a gun. If you're reasonable to carry a gun, or you don't carry a gun. Oh, really? So I cannot protect myself? No, fuck. You cannot protect yourself, man. You have to call the police. But in meanwhile, pray to God. So what?
That's
You know?
totally different mindset from here, ain't it?
So sometimes we need, we need to reframe something like that. We need to have a wide vision on that and say, yes, United States could be better. Yeah, of course, 100%. We can be better. Yes, of course, 100%. But in the same way, we are very lucky to stay here. And yes, we are protected. 100% we are protected.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I answered correctly at your
No, 100%.
question, but yeah, this is my completely and transparent and honest thing.
Right.
Uncle Fatty asked, do officers get compensated for mental health care if they do seek help in Italy?
No, you lose your
Damn.
bed, you lose your gun, you will be
Probably
paid
all your
for
benefits.
your salary, but
shit.
you cannot be active duty.
Wow.
And yeah,
No wonder the suicide rate's high, because if you try to say anything, you're
That's
going to
why.
get fired. And then if you do say something, you're going to get fired.
Yep.
So, damn.
And I would
They're
assume
old.
it's the same. I'm assuming it's the same in the military over there as well.
I don't know. I'm not. I've never been a soldier, so I don't know. I think yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about that. The thing sometimes is that, like I said, you still have your salary, but you be treated like a like a crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
honest. I've been in therapy many times because I think the therapy is good to be better person. So and I went to therapy. I am not blame on that. And so yes, I went to therapy when I felt it was good for me. But the psychology, the environment is like, you're going to therapy, so you are weak, you are crazy, so you need a therapist. This is the mentality sometimes, and the high command usually they
Yep.
don't want to change this
And
mentality.
and that's where I'm going to argue, not with you, but with the aspect of that happening. And just like Uncle Fatty wrote, dang, that sucks. So you're shunned for being weak. If somebody wants to post that up there, it's, and I'm going to tell you from well over 20 years of experience here in the United States, it's not weak going to talk about what you have seen, what you have witnessed. It's actually making you a stronger person, realizing that you're normal, that we put our pants on the same way as everybody that we serve. It shows you're human.
Oh yeah.
And I believe talking about it allows you to extend your career even longer and be more of an asset to the citizens that we serve and protect every day. And those are the ones that bottle it up because of the old school mentality where I came from of shut the F up, deal with it, go to your next call. Those are the ones that become the absolute problems that
Oh, yeah.
start violating people's constitutional rights because they're having to bottle all this crap up. You know, if you have these correct outlets in these in the mental health world, you're going to have a much more rounded police officer. And I'll argue with people till the day I die on that. But you have got to be able to, I don't care if the outlet's your wife, your kids, a man of faith, man of God, woman of God, whatever. You've got to be able to have that outlet because you're human. If you're claiming to be a superhero and none of that shit bothers you, you're full of shit.
Oh yeah.
Especially with a lot of the calls that I've been on, the three of us, the four of us, thousands of cops, every day go through these calls. If you don't talk to somebody about it and it doesn't bother you, maybe you need to be on what I used to call the 10th floor and receiving high doses of some type of medication.
Yep. Old vitamin B.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
the way is that sometimes also you need to have tool and you need to have resources. I mean, tool like, for example, I can share with you my ritual, for example, when I end my shift, where I end my shift, I put my uniform off, and the first thing that I do is a hot, shower, where I close my eyes, I breathe like, the box breathing, and think about it in my mind that, okay, I'm here, I'm good, I'm safe, the shift is ended, now I'm going home.
Yes.
I do the same all the shift. I don't care what kind of shift. It was completely, quiet, and chatting with a donut, okay, or even if it was a really bad shift, the ritual is always the same. But when I felt something that is going so much high, yes, I need also help because it's something that I am no more able to manage. So I need to have, hey, Benning, hey, Eric, I need help.
Yep.
And I expect from Benning and from Eric to say that this is something over my knowledge. You need to go to therapy. And
Yep.
I have to be free to go to therapy because the therapist and the therapy is good for our mind. It's not bad or not something that we need. It's good for our mind because, like I told you, our mind is the first engine of everything.
Yes.
So yes, 100% on that. And yes, we need to change this mentality because I think it's still there. In some part, it's still there. It's
I,
not,
And you
not completely
and
disappeared.
you guys do use a lot of PTZ cameras overseas. There's a lot of facial recognition. There's a lot of cameras that you guys use over there, correct? Law enforcement will use cameras
Mm,
in the public streets, or no?
not so much.
No. Okay.
Not so much. Some country in Europe, yes. Most of the northern country, but no, Italy, no, not so much. Italy, Spain, France. I don't know. France right now is a really bad situation, but not so much. Not so much.
really, I
Much.
I thought all the European countries over there were real heavy with the
Well,
PTZ stuff.
No,
the movies portray that. All the movies
Yeah, the movies
portray that.
make it seem like
Yeah.
everywhere in Europe is surveyed.
no, not really. I mean, uh, it depends on the country. Like I said, Europe. Every nation in Europe is pretty different, from one
Right.
to another. So we have a lot of camera, yeah, but it's more for traffic enforcement usually. So because is the way that you make more business.
Yeah. I think it's very hard to really put in perspective countries that have literally been around for thousands of years versus when you get over here and we've only been an established country for a couple hundred or 400,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I can't math, but not long, not nearly as much as what you've seen in other countries. I mean, shit. I know guys that have gone to bars that are 1,000-year-old bar, and I'm like, how is that possible? Like,
Yeah.
we have nothing. I have nothing to compare that to.
We got about 250
Yeah,
years to go there.
Yeah, I'd say the
this is
longest I've got is 1776 as
this
as
is
a
a
country.
part that is very fun for us because when you said, like I said, some traffic sign was, this is an historical site. You say this is built in 19th century. Okay, like my previous house in Italy. you know?
Right, yeah. Your house
But
was older than
yeah,
our historical site. Yeah.
but it's interesting. It's um, something fun, and I really enjoy that. And but I think, like United States, there are some sites that are really, really older than what you're thinking about. You say, look at for example, the Marines Corps, or look at some symbol from United States. Where they come from? Come from the Roman Empire.
Yeah. Shoot,
Mhm.
my unit in the military, because I'm still in March for
Mhm, mhm.
everybody listening. March 1st is when my orders are, so I'll be gone for 24 days. I will still try to do the podcast stuff. I just never know where I'm going to be in barracks or a hotel or what. I don't know what they're going to do until I get there. So I don't know what my internet connection is going to be like. So we'll see. With that said, I forgot where I was going with that. What were we just talking about?
The symbol.
The symbols. Yes, my unit is we're called the Legion,
Mhm.
and we're called the Legion because we're based off the Legionnaires with the old Roman shield, and we are few, but we are many, or something like that is our little motto. But it's all based on the history of the Roman Legion.
Most of the people say that the Roman Empire didn't die, but simply are going overseas.
Just went different places. Yeah.
It's a
That's got to
theory.
be the fun part. That's why I want to go to Italy so bad, just to and from everybody I've talked to that's gone to Europe and just tried to visit and do the 2-week trip. If I go, I'm going to Italy for at least a month. Just Italy. At least
If
a
you want
month.
to go there, the best for all our audience that are going to listen to us, the best way to visit Italy is to land in the place, whatever you want to land, rent a car, and forget your GPS. Just lost in the country.
Just go.
Just forget about Rome, Venice, Florence. Boring. It's a touristic place. It's nice. I mean, I've been to Venice many times, but it's something boring. It's so touristic. It's so unreal.
Yeah.
If you're going to other place like the place where I grew up is called Torino. It's the first capital in Italy. It's not in the touristic map, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So just lost in the country because every little town has its own, Roman walls or something like that. So it's
I
great.
tell you what I really want to do. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram, and all he does is go over and screw with the scammers that try to like, oh, this is a present. And
Okay.
then like it's a bracelet or whatever. And he's like, this is a present. This is free. And they're like, yeah, it's free. And so he takes it and then he starts to walk away. And they're like, oh, you got to pay me money for that if you want it. And then he ends up like fighting them because like they'll come out of the woodworks and he's got a MMA guy with him. And they try to scam you out of money over there. And he calls them out and puts them on blast. And I think it's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of
Hey,
scammers at the
which
really high profile places.
do
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
drive on? They drive on the other side of the road there, right?
In Italy, no. We drive at the same
Oh,
Same
okay,
side.
very good, very good. All
Perfect.
right,
Yeah. Just UK that work for the other
UK.
side.
Okay,
Yeah.
Strange people.
They drive little Mini Coopers over there, right?
Yeah, Mini Coopers are
And
strange
Vespas.
people. Yeah.
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 Also with France, Italy and France have also always struggle. Always struggle. I know that your last name is, but
I
we have
know.
struggle. Italy and
It
France.
is. Yeah, it is hard. My middle name's Anthony, though, so we got that going for me.
Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio, yeah. They do the American version's Anthony. So
Eric
Yeah.
Antonio.
yeah. I like
Eric
it.
sure you know where
Enrico. Reality should be Enrico.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if I were to take my dad's last name, because my parents never got married, so I'm a bastard. My dad's last name is Gilbert, but I told you earlier
Yeah.
it would have been Celiberto.
Silberto.
Celiberto, yeah, there you go. That's what it would have been had my grandpa kept his last, or he was Guido. That was actually his name. Guido, yeah. So
Oh, I need to tell you that I'm really surprised that we don't have any answer like, hey, could you repeat me one sentence from The Godfather? So I'm really happy about that. And no one asked something like that. Like,
my people are more refined. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah, I
more
love
refined.
that. Yeah. Really, really good audience. I love that.
Yeah. Marine Blood asks, Eric, who is it? I work closely with scam baiters to help scam victims. I will tell you his name. Give me 1 second. Because I really, really like his page. I'm not very good with names. I'm hoping it's somewhere near the front of all these comments. Here we go. His name is Kurt Kurt Kaz YouTube. And I'm going to his page. I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second while I do this. While I'm doing this, what is your favorite Italian dish? Yeah.
It's a really hard question. I mean,
It's not a hard question, sir. If you were about to go on your deathbed and they said you got one meal, what are you getting?
Probably. If you ask me something about law enforcement, no, but yeah, that's okay. About the best dish, the best dish is like, probably spaghetti alla carbonara. There are multiple. Probably I will not just one dish, just multiple dishes.
Multiple dishes. I like your style, sir.
Yeah. Why I have to choose one dish? Sorry. What's the reason why? Like,
That's fair.
Fair. Spaghetti alla carbonara, lasagne alla bolognese, pizza, of course. Pizza, pizza,
brick style. Yeah.
Many things.
Okay, so this is the guy. Let me get a little bit big ear size here. His name is Kurt Kaz YouTube. I'll show you the video that I played today that I really liked. You can see I'm a top commenter because I love this guy's page. I got 83 replies. I can't see any of them though because for some reason it doesn't show them. But anyway, let me play this.
Oh, thanks. Can you give it to me? No, present. It's okay, it doesn't suit me. Happy birthday, my baby. Aww. Okay, it's a present. Got a nice present here. My friend. Yeah, it's a present, right? This present too?
I will do something to eat, my baby.
This present?
Some money.
Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. But you said a present.
Money.
You said it's a present.
You want problem?
Do I want problem? Do I want problem?
So this guy's already told him several times it's a present, and he's trying to do this little thing where he throws it on the ground, and he's going to try to say, well, you didn't give me any money for it. But he already said it's a present, and this guy's clarified several times. And now he's trying to get the sympathy points. Well, this is me and my baby, and now he wants money. And this is the scam. They try to get you.
Problem? You said it's free. Oh, give it.
Now, this guy off to the right, he's MMA trained. He's a badass. His name's Fred. Fred doesn't play no games, but he protects the main YouTuber guy here.
Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me, man. Come on. Oh, give me my Don't touch me, dude. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, grazie.
And he said, give me my present back. That's not how presents work.
Yeah.
If you get in the United States, if you give me a present, it's mine now. You can't take it back. You gave it to me. That's what a present is. So now they're telling this guy, he keeps pressing, and he's trying to tell him, back off.
See me, yeah?
Don't fucking do it.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it.
You can't go around telling people that they presents and then demand money from them. Because that's a scam.
Do it, man. Don't do it.
Scammer.
Don't do it.
Scammer.
Video, man.
Yeah.
I call police.
Call police.
I love this part. I'm gonna call the police. Okay, let's call them. let's test that theory out. Let's see how it works.
Come, look, video. Smile. Stop scamming people. Stop telling them it's free and then demanding money. You're a scammer.
No.
Don't reach them. Don't reach.
Plenty of warnings. This guy keeps pressing. I am all about self-defense in this point. You do not have to wait to be attacked to defend yourself. So in my opinion, I'm all right with, and I actually said here, I said, cop here, you were right to throw a punch when you did. Self-defense doesn't require you to wait to be hit. You have all the evidence you need to prove it was a scam. He said it was a present. You asked him to confirm, and he did. Proper right hand on the button. So you guys will see that part coming up.
I'm not scared of you, bro. I'm not scared of you, bro.
Fuck you, Tay.
Fuck you.
Boom!
Big cat. Let's go, Fred.
And he threw the present to him. I don't know if you caught that. He threw the gift back at him.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then people were like, well, why, if you were in the right, why did you run? Well, because these dudes don't travel alone.
No.
They have packs of them that are a problem. So that is, I like seeing videos like that. I really like this guy. And that's what he does. He goes and exposes scammers all across Europe. So
all right, Eric, we got to go over there. We got to do a live show from over there.
yeah, I don't
Specific on that, yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea as an American to try to go over there and prove a point. I'm good. I will let the Europeans do this shit. That's their territory. That ain't mine. Nobody wants to see an American go over there and try to virtue signal. Not at all. So, but no, I love that stuff. I think that's great. But they, I don't know where they were at on this one.
I think it was in Italy because I seems to be on the back patrol car from the local police.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
I'm not sure about that because some other local police from other country, but from the environment and the weather too, seems to be in some northern Italy country.
Yeah,
city.
he does. He does a lot of cool places, and Italy is. You see him around the Colosseum and stuff quite a bit. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alan's asking if he can share your LinkedIn account if people want to find you.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. It's just my first name, my nickname, and my last name.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
So
easy. I'm very easy. My last name is pretty uncommon in Italy, so it's very, very easy to find me. Very easy. Very easy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, he's gonna put it in the chat, but yeah, Ryan asked, how about the guys that expose the child predators, which is great because I actually shared one of their videos not too long ago. I love it. I think it's great. There's so many child predators. It is impossible for cops to keep up with all of them. So any of these guys that are out there doing it in the civilian world, I have no issue. Matter of fact, why not share one? Why not?
There you go. Yeah.
Why not share one? Let me go to, I found out my favorite thing to share is actually on X. It shows up the best. It's definitely not our top platform by any means, but sharing their videos works out really well. Let me find, there we go. So I will share the screen. Go here. We'll do this one more time. All right, now let me grab this guy here.
Knows it.
That one. What does that mean? I'm a police officer. That's what that.
You're a police.
All right.
A cop gets busted as a child predator.
Yo, Chris. Hey! What are you doing? What was that? Why are you grabbing a 15-year-old face like that? Yeah, you're done.
Now listen, let's take a seat real quick. We monitor online activity between minors and adults.
What the f***?
Our job isn't here to get people in trouble. Our job is to protect children.
You okay?
We want to make sure you're not a threat to
Holy
children.
shit.
What are you doing here?
Whoa.
What are you doing here?
He's he knows it.
That one. What does that mean? I'm a police officer. That's what that.
You're a police officer. Where?
You're a Miami-Dade police officer? Are you kidding me? You're here to serve and protect, and you're caressing a 15-year-old's face?
I don't know if y'all are.
Yeah, buddy. Miami-Dade police officer got busted doing that shit. So I don't have any sympathy for that dude. None whatsoever. And when you watch the whole video, he actually owns up to the whole thing. He already got me, like. So I really don't have a problem sharing that one because he he admits it all on the camera and talks about where he's a cop and that they've got him dead to rights and he wasn't going to talk anymore. And then you see a cop come up and arrest the dude. So really, really love that they do that. Now, I will say, and you guys back me up on this, if you're going to do it, if that is what you're going to do, one, be careful because they have been shot before. There's been violence that has happened against people trying to do this. Because you're backing somebody into a corner that knows they are screwed once they get to prison. I mean, literally and figuratively, they're going to get screwed when they get to prison. So that's a problem. And then two, you can really screw up a case if you don't do it the right way. So do your homework, understand what your prosecutors and your cops look for to build a case. If you don't do it right, it can screw things up. So it is not something that you should just jump into willy-nilly. Do your homework, understand what you're doing, be safe, be careful. But I am of the opinion in America, one of the things that I love is that if we're going to do police work right, we have to understand it's not just a cop's job. I can't do it all. I shouldn't do it all. And it's not just a citizen's job. They shouldn't be paying for us to go out there and do nothing and sit idly by. I think cops that don't respond and don't act, I think there should be some level of accountability, whether that's prison time or whatever. Depends on what the investigation shows. Because there's been cases where cops fail to act. So I think cops that fail to act should be held accountable. Vice versa, I think citizens should have the right to help us help their own communities. It's their community. We're the face of that help, but they can help themselves, and I'm all for that. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think that, yeah, it is important that, you know, to act like a professional. I mean, professional is not just, to present yourself like professional. Professional means everything, from the start to the beginning to the end. And about the citizen, I think that more awareness we have like citizen, and more the people are willing to help us. I think I'm really strong in believing that we need to be really close to the people. I mean, when I do my job, usually I love to go to every kind of local owner shop or whatever to talk, to make contact, to talk with people, because I think that they need to understand. I mean, this is like I said, for my culture, that I came from, that law enforcement is also appreciated, for the historical reason too. So we need to change that. We need to understand to the people that we are not here to punish you. We're going to here to protect you and to help you every day. And so, yes, you just before you said something about do something against the policy. I don't think that is right to do something against the policy, but I think also we can do something different that is not allowed in the policy, but is allowed like human. I mean, I remember I was in a patrol one time, and we have a call for trespassing in a supermarket. It was a really old woman that was just steal, just bottle olive oil and three broccoli or something like that. And the owner of the supermarket wanted uh, to follow the crime and say, okay, we need to put some, I want to be a victim on that, blah blah blah. So we manage that, and we say, hey, if we pay for that, it could be good for you. So for him was good, and we buy then a grocery for an entire grocery for this kind of woman that was a woman with Alzheimer, and with no money, with they have a pension for 500 euro a month, so impossible to live with that. And I think this is something that sometimes also for the media is not shown. Usually, I think also here it would be the same. They show always something that when something goes wrong. We need to show something that when something goes well, without any kind of fighting, without any kind of shooting, without any kind of arrest, because we are not here just to punish people. We are here to help people, to protect the people, and protect the people means everything. It's not just protect with handgun. It's just protect also to be, to be a listener for you, to be to understand your concern, to help you in a different way. We didn't help to protect the community like arrest or something like that, but to protect this woman. So I think in this way, if we are going to this path, probably we can create more awareness of the on the people, and they can also understand a little bit better how is our work and how they could help us, because they could help a lot us. So yes, I think it's just question of awareness and of the people in general, but we need to be the awareness. Okay, we
Yeah.
don't we cannot expect that the people are just aware and they just help us because we dress a uniform. We need to create this kind of field. We need to create this kind of situation in which the people are willing to help us. And it requires time, I think, but if the media doesn't work with us, I think that we can do something different. Like this podcast, for example, I think is one of really great tool in which the people can understand a little bit better
Yeah.
who is behind the badge.
Yeah, we're controlling the narrative
Yeah.
versus just being subject to it. So I agree. And that's one of the reasons why we started what we're doing is we got so tired of people talking about us, around us, how we think, how we feel, and they're not us. And I'm like, well, shit, how are we supposed to ever really get out there if we're not doing it ourselves? And so this is kind of the way the platform works is I'm not saying we're right. I'm giving you what my perspective is. You can agree with it or disagree. I guess that's the benefit of it. At least you're not being told what my perspective is from some other person that's not me and not has anything to do with what I do. So I like being able to control the narrative, and I think that's one of the good things about this platform.
Yeah, I think that it's really important information. I mean, I can share my experience. My wife, I met my wife. She was not against the law enforcement, but was not so, proactive with the law enforcement. Was a protester at the time, never violent. But after being there with me, I was showing all the aspect behind of what's happening up, in a crowd control system or in some sort of situation. So she was more able to understand our work. Right now is it's a supporter of us.
Yeah.
Of course, at the same time, when we see something that is really bad, it's really bad. Period. There is nothing to say. But we need to do something like that. Also, with many people that ask me, for something that happened in Minneapolis, I don't want to say something like that because it is really, sensitive situation. But from Italy, they have a lot of, information from the media. Oh, we have fascists in the United States. Hey, wait a minute. We need to understand what's really happened. First, we cannot really know exactly what really happened because I was not there. But at the same way, we need to, to be logic, to understand what's really happened, and then we can have our thought about that. But if we are open to understand what can really happen, what are the policy, what are the procedure, why a police officer makes something,
Yeah.
and I think this podcast is something really valuable for that. And this is the reason
Appreciate it.
why I wrote to you, because it's something that I say, yeah, it's interesting and have to be done.
Yeah. So we had a question. They said store-bought noodles or homemade?
I'm pretty lucky because my wife is a really good chef, so we prefer to do all of from ourselves.
Okay.
As much as possible. As much as possible.
I don't blame you. So I got lucky.
Honestly, it's something that I love United States. I really love United States. There is something that I don't really like, that is the food. I'm honest with that. Sorry.
You're not the only one. And I got lucky and I have Italian. My grandfather was from Italy. I got the real deal. I understand the differences. And even being here, he would tell you it was still missing something because it wasn't from Italy. The water was different. The whatever is put into the cheese or however you want to word it, unless it got imported from Italy, from the areas he knew, he would even tell you, he's like, even this isn't quite the same. but it's better than anything American you're gonna get.
I don't know if I can say something like that. I don't know if we have in audience we have some Homeland Security officer. Probably I will be arrested for that, but I will try. I will see if tomorrow something you say, hey, you are under arrest. I know why. But when I have my mother-in-law that comes here frequently, and usually we have two luggage. One luggage, from the big luggage.
Yep.
One luggage is for the hair on, dress, whatever. The second luggage is for the Italian food.
All the food import. I like it.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's me. I can be arrested. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I like it. I like it.
I watch a lot of those shows, and it's actually okay on a lot of that stuff that's brought over. It's sometimes the TV glorifies otherwise, but watching that stuff, man, they let a lot of the homegrown foods come over because it's comfort food from the countries, and I think that's freaking awesome that America does that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, that's the one thing America's just completely got wrong is our food. There's some good food, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there's a reason why we're a bunch of fat asses. So, because our food is terrible for us.
I think it's all question of awareness. I think, and it's question. It's again a question of habits.
Yeah.
Because if we are going to make different habits, something could change because we can find here good ingredients.
Yeah.
It's just question of for Italian people, like for Spanish people, the meal is a ritual. It's not just to be feeded.
Right.
It's a ritual.
Yeah.
To stay in the family, to be in the family. So just to be okay. Just I have to make my meal so quick because I have to do other stuff. It's the fast food. Basically the fast food. Yeah, it could be the fast food once in a while. But if you take your ritual, you can taste your food. You can have a relation with the food. It's something that could be different.
And it's made with stuff that's not going to kill you either. It's made with real ingredients, not a bunch of processed things. So that's the other part.
I don't see any Americans trying to throw Big Macs on a friggin' 747 to go visit Italy either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, sir, I don't have anything else that I want to pluck out of you today. I would love to have you back on the show if you're willing, but is there anything you wanted to get out there that we haven't touched on yet?
For me, it was amazing to stay with you because it was like a chat with friends. And
beautiful. That's what we like.
And was pretty amazing. There is something that I think that also could be interesting. That is the crowd control itself. I know that you're specialized on that. And so we talked about something about the K9. Yes, of course, it's also little that we are talking because also the K9 is a specific and so sometimes could be technical and could be boring some people. But yes, the K9 that's amazing, of course.
Yeah,
but
everybody loves the K9.
Yeah, the crowd control also is an interesting part because I think it's something that I deeply respect the law enforcement in the United States, and I think for many reasons are one of the best law enforcement in the world. I think that there is something that have to be reframed in the crowd control, the system.
We're terrible at it.
And I think that this is something that I think that every country, every culture has, like I said, you remember the dancing hammer? I think the same way like this is something that the national police in Italy can teach something about patrol. I don't think so. About the crowd control, probably yes, because we are dealing with the crowd control for many years. I remember in my brigade, I worked in a riots almost every day for years.
Wow.
So we have experience on that. Of course, Italy, France, Spain are the most skilled, brigade because we worked every day in riots. So it's something that could be interesting, just to have a different perspective to how manage, the crowd control system. That is something that really could affect the reputation of an agency, the reputation of the government itself.
Yeah.
It's not, if an agency make less arrests this month, okay, this could be a bad deal, but it's just missing one riot, one crowd control that went wrong, and everything can blow up, and you can mm, destroy the reputation of the agency for years for just one riot. So I think that is something that could be faced a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my point, just
I'll
my idea.
say I think Seattle is probably one of the absolute best at crowd control across the nation. And the only reason I know that is because I've done crowd control for so long. I've helped out at the RNC and the DNCs across the nation since about 2016. And we did most of it from bicycles. And I know people always kind of give a little giggle when you talk about bicycles, but watch
Effective
Seattle.
tool.
Yeah, watch Seattle clear streets with their bicycles. There's nobody better. There's nobody better at it. You are essentially turning what would take, let's just say, for a single city block on a normal two-way road, let's say 20 cops. It only takes 8 regular bike cops to cover that whole street because they use their bike as a rolling fence. And then you combined, gas and the ability to throw 40 millimeter whatever, whether it's gas or foam rounds or what, they can clear streets very quickly. They understand how to open their fence up, make arrest teams do stuff really quickly, go out there, get the person, get them back behind the line. Your instigators, agitators, and they're not wasting their time with people that are there just to protest peacefully. They see the people that are trying to cause the violence in the crowds, and they get them out of there. That's the people, the paid protesters, the ones that you see that are there to actually incite violence. That's the problem. So good teams out there, you just got to find them.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd control for me is really interesting because it's something that, when we have the protest, it's already the last part of the crowd control. The crowd control starts from, very long time before the every kind of situation. The crowd mentality, the crowd behavior is something really amazing. I love this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
It's very
Yep.
interesting.
I agree. Yeah, crowd control it really is it's an art form in a way that I think
Oh yeah.
is very, if you're not training it to your officers in the academy, you're screwing up. And
100%.
I know a ton, even I don't want to throw shade at my own agency, but it's one of the things that I think we lack. We don't train them in the academy because day one you could be out in the streets, a brand new rookie, and shit hits the fan and you're not going to know what to do.
Oh yeah.
And that's terrible. So has that been your experience, Banning?
Yeah, that's same exact.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Crowd control, public order. It's not sexy. People hate it. It doesn't look good, but if you do it right, it really helps out because I have witnessed personally. I have witnessed agitators that they're coming from across the country. They're not even local people. They're just across the country. They come out there and you see this slew of arrests and you see them setting up bricks. Reconnaissance, that's a big part of public order. If you know that there's going to be a protest and all that stuff, you should be scouting and looking ahead and seeing where, they could be stockpiling weapons and things like that. I've seen them out there with frozen water bottles and bricks and all sorts of crazy stuff that you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like the K9, the response is immediately. So it also, the behavior of the officers, like, okay, I have my helmet on the head or on my belt. This changed the behavior of the crowd. I have my shield or I don't have my shield. How to respond to the people or how to don't respond to the people. Everything is something really quick response from the crowd. And it's really interesting. And it's all about habits. There is a book, really interesting book, from Mark Dahig, the power of the habit. They make
Okay.
some difference, something about it. They talk about something, of the crowd and the habits of the crowds. It's really interesting,
Yeah.
and it's have to be a specialized team. Yes, I totally agree with that. I
Yep.
think that the mentality of the patrol is completely have to be completely different from the mentality of a
Yeah.
crowd control special unit.
Yep. And Ryan brought up a good point talking about drones. Drones have changed the game and how we deal with crowd control, big time.
Yep.
Because now we can see the formation, see where they're going. Where when you're on the ground level, it's harder. It's a lot harder.
Oh yes.
It's why I'm lucky most of the time where I'm at, there's high rise buildings everywhere. So when there are those big crowds, we can see what's going on from a high. But now with drones, that changes the game. We can actually do the job, I think, a lot better because that's
Oh
another
yeah.
vantage point. When I was doing the RNC this year, or I'm sorry, when we had the last one, that was a big thing. They had a ton of drones. They had the tethered drones and they had regular fly around drones and helped out a lot. Helped out a
Oh,
lot.
yes.
Helped prevent a lot of issues. So if you're doing it right, you're getting ahead of the trouble before it becomes trouble, and then real trouble never happens. That's the idea.
Yeah, my experience is that if something happened and if you have to fight, it's because something have failed before.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. 100%.
so
Yeah.
if not
Most
to
of the
fight,
time.
you have to fight right, but it's something I failed
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
And
The
yeah,
only real arrests I've ever had to make, and we're talking since all the way back to 2016 when I worked my first.
okay.
There you go. When I worked my first convention, whether I think it was a DNC was the very first one I worked. I didn't. We didn't really have to make any arrests. The ones that we did have to make was just because a freak fight started right in front of us, and they actually were hitting each other, and we had to get them out of there. So it was just like, all right, let's deal with it, get them out of there. But like you said, when shit really hit the fan, when the crowds were really coming against each other, we had systems in place to prevent that from getting out of hand,
100%.
and they didn't break down. So
It's a sort for me, the crowd control is a sort of dance,
yeah,
in which we have a dance between the crowd, between the operator on the line, the command staff, and the different agency also, because when it's a big crowd, you probably have 3-4 agency that work together, and if you are not specialized unit, they know how to deal with that.
yeah,
Maybe you are good because from Seattle, for example, it's very good, but you are an agency, maybe I don't know, the sheriff office that are not so trained for that.
right,
This is a problem too, because for the people like
yeah,
professor, I don't care if you are Seattle police or deputy sheriff, you are law enforcement. So you do something wrong, okay, we're going to fight. I don't care if you are police or sheriff or
yeah,
FBI or whatever. So but this is, like I said, it's pretty
yeah,
interesting. And
yeah. And police, Twitchy Sketch brought up a good point that it wasn't the protesters that blew that situation up. It was law enforcement. And law enforcement can 100% escalate things because they come out too hot on something that wasn't a big deal, but their presence, the way they act, the way they dressed, all
yeah,
escalate things. And it is a mob mentality. That's a real thing. And they see that and they just fight the system because you came out hot first. And yeah, you got it going. And there's people that they don't like that. They're like, no, they shouldn't be doing that. And I'm telling you, like, that's not how these go. It's not how it works.
I wasn't I told with a really, this is a really was a heavy agitator at the time, okay, and after many arrests and whatever, he started to change his mind. So I asked him to say, okay, but when when you start some fighting, okay, what are you thinking of? What's the reason why in some situation you are going to fight or some situation you are not going to fight?
Yeah.
And he said that they said, Andrea, we understand if we can start fighting from how you, like police officer, jump off your truck. From this beginning, we understand immediately if we have space to fight, or it's better to don't deal with the law enforcement. From how you jump off your truck.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah.
100%. Yep. I like it. Well, sir, I got nothing else. I would love to have you on again if you're willing. We'll do some body cam review stuff. You can join on and watch some videos.
For me, should be I'm more than honored for that. I mean, I love to stay with you guys. I mean, it's like to stay with friends and chat with friends. So
Appreciate that.
I'm very comfortable with that and with you. So it's pretty uncommon. It's not common. So in general, to be in an interview and be so comfortable.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm really comfortable, and I love your project. I love your program. And if you all of you three guys think that I can be I can apport some other share some other things, I'm more than happy to do
Absolutely.
that.
Just your perspective from being from overseas is huge.
Yep. I would love to bring you back and do a breakdown of body camera footage on how you would have handled it at your first agency versus how you would handle it here.
Yeah.
And I think that would give a true perspective of all your experience. And I would love to do that.
Yeah, that would be a good
100%.
time. Hell
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, good. I've got nothing else. Bannon, you got anything else you want to get out there? Good. Alan, good.
No.
Anything you need to get out there, sir, so people can find you?
I mean, yes, I'm pretty easy to find me with my last name, first name, and it's pretty easy because, like I said, on the internet, it's only me with the last name and first
Bo
name.
Jackson.
So not the Bo Jackson.
Not the Bo Jackson. Yeah. Fair.
Damn.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Andrea Bogiatto is very easy to find me. Very, very, very easy.
Yeah.
Like it. All right. So everybody,
it's not very good for the bad guys, but yeah, it's very easy to find me.
Everybody out there listening tonight, thank you for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe. That stuff helps us. For everybody that donated tonight, thank you very much. That goes right back into the show. We really appreciate that. Shout out to our sponsors, Ghost Patch. Make sure if you guys are going to get any type of police stuff, patches, coins made, go to Ghost Patch. Ghost Patch Customs. That's another spot you can check out. Shout out to Peregrine. If you want to turn your shittiest detectives into Sherlock Holmes, that's my statement, not theirs. Check out peregrine.io. So big shout out to them. Anybody else I'm missing? Retro Rifle.
Rifle.
Shout out to Retro Rifle with our shirts. If you like guns hidden on your Hawaiian style shirts and pop culture, check out Retro Rifle. And see, he likes it. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what we got for today, guys. Things to look forward to is we're going to try to implement drones into our footage and into our sponsorships. So things to look forward to. I'm not going to say too much, but that's what I got in the works. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Everybody, thank you very much and take it easy.
Thank you.
Guys.